Hello everyone, my name is Gavin, or at least that's what I'm calling myself, and today we're going to be finally diving back into Staffer Case. Actually, I'm just noticing my audio's peaking a little into the red today. If I get too peaky, could anyone let me know? I don't want to have a bunch of audio issues that are going to make this stream unlistenable. Okay, this seems to be better. Okay, so anyway, for those of you who don't know the history here, Staffer Case was a detective game I started playing right before my big hiatus started at the end of December. And had a lot of fun playing it. It actually wound up being my first, 4-hour stream. But the timing was just bad. I wound up going on hiatus for a bit. Then when I came back, I was all set to start it back up right where I left off. But then the Golden Idol DLC came out, and that was obviously my first priority. And then after that, I was going to do it the week after, but then I got sick. I had a bad reaction to, I think it was I had my pneumonia vaccine then, and I had a really bad reaction to it. And so as a result of that, I just was not feeling up to streaming it, so I could not do it then. And so here we are, finally getting back into this game after literally 3 months of delays. So, given the delay, quick recap of what this game's about while I get it set up here. So basically, this game, as far as I can recall, is set in a horrible dystopian fantasy land known as England. And in this place, magic use is common, probably isn't the right word. It's more like, statistically, you probably can't use magic, but you're probably going to bump into some guy on the street a couple times a week who can use magic. And people who can use magic are called staffers, and they can typically use, one very specific spell that's unique to them, and they have to be, registered with the government, and apparently are not treated very well. They're kind of perceived as just automatically a threat to normal people. There was a whole thing about how the classification for staffers compares them to different types of weapons based on how much damage they could do if they went all murder happy. And so that leaves people just instinctively viewing them as a danger, and also they have to wear government issued bracelets that track when they use their magic or something. So anyway, we play a guy who gets sent to London to work with the division that investigates magic murders, and he has a very stupid name. I think it's No Trick or something. Everyone in this game has a stupid name. But his magic power is not having magic powers, but having basic functional logic instead, so then he solves murder mysteries with paperwork. And we solved a murder mystery with paperwork. It took us 4 hours. And now, presumably, more murder mysteries are going to happen that we're going to solve with paperwork. So let's get into it. This time, I'm going to be more conscious of the stream time, and if it starts getting towards the end of... So it's getting to 9 o'clock, I'm not going to try to power through the case no matter how close I think I am to the end, because I learned from last time I am never as close to the end as I think in these kinds of games. So if it gets too close to time, we're just going to have to call an intermission, and that'll be it. And we'll get back to this next week, assuming the curse doesn't take effect again. Alright, with all that said, let's jump back into this. I think we're here, this one. That'll put us into case 2, I believe. Wait, hold on, are we still in case 1? I thought we auto-saved after case 2. Let me check. Can we see the log? Or I'm just going to assume this is the start. Yeah, no, this is the end of case 1. Hold on. Yeah, this is they're arresting the person from the end of case 1. Let me just bash the button here until we get the end. Okay, let me see if I can remember these names. So yeah, we got No Trick, we got, Geller was the killer in the last one, the clown. Red Fins, I think, was the mysterious division leader person who's tried to fire us for not having magic at the start, but she likes us now. Yeah, come on. Yep. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, sorry for the difficulty here. Uh, okay, then there's like this. Oh wait, no, this guy's the actual division chief, whose name we don't know yet. He's just the chief. And then this is where we have the big serious talk about discrimination against staffers on like the balcony, because No Trick is sad because the killer did it for like sympathetic reasons. Yeah, it's probably good we're getting this kind of recap, given how long it's been since the last playthrough. No. Sorry about all this, folks. I wonder if I was supposed to hit new game and like directly go to the case I wanted to go to. Come on. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then they give us cake or something. This time also, I think I'm going to try to put more effort into doing the voices again. I think I gave up pretty early into the last one, just didn't bother doing separate voices for any of the characters, so I'm going to at least try here. I'm not good at voicing things. So I guess probably we should have hit new game. Case 2, Pet Shop. Creatures, the mutated results of phenomena. An incident occurs at a creature breeding facility. That is a Harry Potter-ass name right there. Okay, starting case 2 for real now. That sound. He's dead. He's really dead. How was it, you worthless piece of filth? I knew this day would come! Let's hurry. We can't let them find out I was here. This is all because of you monsters. Whatever, I don't care. After all, it wasn't me who killed him. We got animal murder. We're going to be defending a magic orca in court again. Sorry, I kept you waiting for some time, yes? Let's hurry back. What all did you have to buy? Paper for the office, ink, 5 kilograms of tea leaves, you know, things. Sergeant, because of all these case files back here, there's already 0 room. Could we put all that in the trunk? You mean the boot? There's no room back there. That's where we keep the files on theft and robberies. Sometimes I feel like I might have been better switching places with those files. Is it that heavy? I feel like I'm being flattened. It's already been a month since I joined the Mana Affairs Division. Because of the Trump Tower case, the others recognized my talents. But since they could solve most cases with their skills, I was given the task of reviewing cases and filling out paperwork. At times, I began to question my decisions leading to this point, since that was exactly what I had done back with my old private investigator boss. But still, I was satisfied enough just from being accepted as part of the team. I didn't think I'd get used to being a part of the Mana Affairs Division so easily, but I felt completely adjusted to it all in just 1 month. Why do you look so worn out all of a sudden? Huh? I'm not, it's just... I bought snacks too, so feel free to eat if you're feeling peckish. So that's what smells so good. Sausages. You have to leave some for Thena and Brian, though. Do you not like sausages? No, it's the packaging. The pig's grinning from ear to ear. I was just wondering if he should be. Is that your issue? Isn't it normal for him to be? Not really. It feels like putting a big smiling human on the package of a bunch of human meat. Might be rather effective advertising for cannibals. And now I have to put myself in the cannibal's shoes. When it comes to products, it's important to think of the needs of the customers. Anyway, there's not that much pork in that sausage anyway. Huh? What's this? Now I'm taking a closer look. It says it only contains 0.2% pork. With only 0.2%, why not just leave it out altogether? A good con artist always makes sure they have an escape route note. There's no such thing as a good con artist. What about me? Anyway, if the sausage is only 0.2% pork, what's the other 99.8% made of? Fish? Flour? Maybe creature meat? Oh my gosh, I just started thinking about, like, have you ever seen those bad two-sentence horror stories? And, like, there's, like, a couple running jokes that whole subreddit has. It's like the one about, like, oh no, I ran out of milk for my cornflakes, or whatever. Luckily, I can milk some more from my creature. And then there's, like, this whole thing about, like, just, like, a gajillion of these that just the creature keeps coming back up and needing to milk things from it. I probably sound insane to anyone who does not have the context for what I'm talking about. But, I mean, luckily, I can milk more sausages from my creature. I'm afraid to ask, but what did you just say? You mean creatures? Yet another new term? You don't know? This is rather bothersome, but I guess I should explain. You understand staffers and staff now, right? If mana inhabits a person, we call them a staffer. If it inhabits an inanimate object, we call it staff, right? That's right. Oh, sorry, wrong voice. That's right. Then on top of that, if it inhabits a non-human animal, it's called a creature. Kind of breaking the name scheme here, aren't we? In the case of staffers and staff, the phenomena takes the form of random powers. Such powers are commonly referred to as skills. Creatures, unlike staffers, can't use skills. Instead, the phenomena manifests itself in the form of body transformations. To put it simply, it makes them bigger, or they develop peculiar characteristics, something in that vein. Thus, some creatures get quite meaty, and with their excellent reproductive capabilities, they're often used as a source of food. And it's okay to eat. Though there have been no documented cases of creature meat having any adverse effects on the human body, there are some like you, note, who prefer to avoid it since they view it as unclean. However, it's got a great flavor with a low price tag, so those with little means are thankful for the meal. Ever since we commercialized creature meat, starvation has taken a steep nosedive. Well, when you put it like that. I'm trying to tell you it's fine to eat, but I didn't expect you to chow down with no objections. Well, since it's not bad for me, I've got no reason not to eat it. Surprisingly, no, it's actually delicious. Improving taste, the most important of the body transformations creatures get. Okay, but where's the creature that makes fresh slushies every day? Do I have to milk the slushy creature now? We're back. What? Why are you two so late getting back? We bought sausages. Woohoo! Worst range. I love these. Is something the matter? One at a time. Detective Brian was called to the scene and requested reinforcements. Oh-ho! How'd you catch all that? Why would she talk with her mouth full of food if she thought we wouldn't understand? He said we should all come if possible. That means you too, Note. Me too? Seems as though there's a case that he can't solve using his skill alone. What's the case? Where are we going? It's a murder case, and I'm at a place on Listen Street, a creature management facility. The head of the facility... He was caught and eaten by a creature. Oh. We got paperwork, baby! So, well, that's our intro. I like it when we get to go pretty quick into the action in these detective games. Case 2. Pet Shop. I was like, trying to... my brain was going, ooh, I should make a JoJo joke here, and I was like, dang, I came with 3 and none of them were good, so... Herb. Note, are you sure you're alright not going with Pandy? She's your partner. If I ride in that car one more time, I might actually be crushed to death. Wait, did you just say the sergeant and I are partners? I guess I was the only one who thought like that. Yeah, I guess that is pretty much the case, though. Shouldn't that come as more of a shock? It's pretty obvious you were trying to get a reaction out of me. Aw, someone's starting to build up an immunity to my humor. I think you're the only one who would consider that humor, Sergeant. Look at you two. You're getting along so well. Let's say we are. Then, would you please explain the case? All right, for our 2 latecomers, I'll lay it out for you myself. All right, we got the guitar. Let's go. Mystery. I'm struggling to provide insightful commentary today for some reason. The murder occurred at a creature management facility called Woods. It's a place where they raise creatures and do research on them. It's a privately run facility, but they go way back with the Bureau, so it seems they also pass some of that information on to the government. But at 1 in the afternoon yesterday, a body was found, assumed to be the head of the facility, Jerry Thompson. And it almost feels depressing getting names like Jerry Thompson after I, binged through all the Ace Attorney games a couple months back. It's like... if this was Ace Attorney, this guy who got eaten by monsters, he'd be named something like Seikun Helpin or something like that. God, even looks boring. More accurately, they found a hand that they're assuming was Jerry Thompson's. You're saying the victim was eaten by a creature. That's right. His hand was found in his office, and the rest was found in the waste treatment facility where they dispose of the creature's excrement. We're sifting through creature shit today, folks. The victim's office, it's in absolute tatters from what we can only assume was a large creature rampaging on the loose. It was there the creature caught and ate its victim. Why did I make it Canadian? Not exactly a scene I want to imagine. However, I clearly heard you use the word murder, right? If the victim was eaten by a creature, we can't exactly conclude it was a murder, can we? I mean, what do you expect me to do? Defend an animal in court? I'm not sure of those details myself, but it seems the Woods faculty includes 3 staffers who keep their creatures in check. So there was possibly a cover-up for a murder by one of the staffers. That must be what the higher-ups of the facility are thinking. This case has yet to be looked into by the police. Those higher-ups asked for us by name. Thus, I think we're going to have to investigate the scene of the crime more thoroughly than we did our last big case. We're already here, the scene of the crime. Well, let's hear the rest of the explanation straight from the horse's mouth. Or the creature's mouth. It took me way too long on that. Woods, Creature Management Facility. Yeah, that name's boring too. As a staffer is like a lame name for a magic user. This needs better names. Oh wow, how can I even begin to describe this place? I figured it would be some Sort of like a ranch, but it's got more of a factory feel to it. They did say there's some research going on alongside the breeding program, no? Ah, thus the choice in interior design. But, am I the only one concerned about the giant in that cage? Holy shit, is that SCP-682? Ah, what's gotten into you, no? You scared? That thing's stuffed. You're scared of a stuffed animal. Even creatures don't get that big. Are you sure? Of course. Look here. Huh? Wag! My hand! I've still got my hand attached to my arm, right? Stuffed animal right rear. That thing's alive. Blimey. And here I was hoping it was stuffed. How can she assume her hope is a proven fact? Well, if you think about it rationally, there'd be no reason to lock a stuffed animal in a cage. Please tell me that before I touch it next time. Ah! Someone's coming. Two someone's. Huh? I see you've all arrived. What was that going on a moment ago? It was just Thena, almost having her arm bitten off. But who's this with you, Brian? Ah, this here's the facilities. Wait, what did you just say? Why, hello there! Welcome, welcome. You must all be from the Man Affairs Division. I am the Vice President of Woods, Researcher, and Security Officer, Beck. I thought there might be a pun or something there, I'm not feeling it. I'm also the acting head of the institution as things stand, so if you have any questions, feel free to call me up. Sergeant Redfin's at your service. And your name was? Beck. I just told you. I'm sorry. I sort of stopped listening in the middle since you were droning on so long. You are a detective. He was talking for 30 seconds at most. Quite the sense of humor you've got there, Sergeant. I hear that quite often. That's a lie. Shall we start by checking the scene of the crime? Since you're the Vice President, Acting President, and Security Guard, it shouldn't be hard for you to get us there, right? Well, ma'am, the scene of the crime is inside that large hairy animal there. So, I could get you in there, but you're not gonna like it, ma'am. Ah, and perhaps is there a room we could use as our field office? Ah, if that's what you require, you can use lounge number 2, which is located directly to the right of your crime scene. Great, then I'll... hold on a second, I'm trying to shift accents and my brain's shifting gear without a clutch. Great, then I'll prepare the room for our interrogations. No, I'll take care of that. I doubt I'll be much help this time. Eh? What's that supposed to mean? I'll explain later. Sarge, is that alright with you? Seems like you've got something irking you. If you must, then would you like to come with us to the crime scene, Thena? Sure. Alright, we got Lizard Murder. Who had Lizard Murder on their bingo cards for today? Oh god, I'm already bombing the commentary, thank god no one's here. Oh, that's a hand. This wasn't the way this place was decorated originally, right? Oh, well, good news, I've got someone here. Bad news. Bye-bye. Like, viewer bot? Is that the term for those things? Whatever, moving on. I figured the place would be a bit of a mess, but this is far worse than I expected. It's a disaster. We've kept the room preserved exactly as it was. This is how it looked when Miss Moko came upon it. Who is Miss Moko exactly? Ah, I forgot to talk about her. Lisa Moko, one of our handlers here at the facility. She's in charge of the reptile wing. Then this Lisa Moko was first on the scene. Well then, investigate to your heart's content. I simply cannot look at this any longer, so I'll attend to other non-violent business. Indeed, do as you will. Note, are you alright? This is the first time you've seen a crime scene tore up this bad, huh? I'm fine. When I think of this as a criminal investigation, I get strangely calm. Speaking of which, Detective Thena, you don't normally see the crime scenes. You look quite composed yourself. Well, for me, I saw a whole lot more of this when I worked probations. This isn't enough to draw a reaction from me. Probations? Thena started in another department. Then she moved to the Mana Affairs Division about 4 years ago. That's the first I'm hearing of this. What's probation's handle? And handles probation's no trick. How dumb are you, no trick? Ah, good old probations. Short for the Probations and Rehabilitation Department. Probations, right, that's the department that carries away the criminals once we close a case, huh? When I worked there, I had a reputation for being a bit much to handle. I've got a dark, dark past. Huh? Darker than this? Heh, chillin' for your thoughts. Nothing of note. Oh, we're getting, psychometry, I forgot about. That's her power. She can touch things and see things. This isn't good. I came here to do a memory survey, but my mind is holding on to one intense memory that's drowning out all the rest. An intense memory? Indeed, a man's screams, the sound of bones crunching, the inhale and exhale of a large beast. That hand over there is all that's left of the corpse, huh? The rest of it? Perhaps... When I first heard he was eaten by a creature, I still can't get over Creecher, I'm sorry. When I first heard he was eaten by a creature, I couldn't really picture it in my mind. After seeing the state of this room and that creature back there, I can't not picture it. I'm feeling a little queasy. I'm beginning to understand what happened here, but I don't see a single clue that will help us identify a possible murderer. Besides the hand... I mean, okay, I guess I wouldn't point to a murderer, but it's a clue. From the look of it, one of those creatures went straight for the victim. We need more information on our suspects. Let's join Brian for now. Alright, he's probably gotten the room ready for my interrogations by now. Once we have a room, setting it up doesn't take all that long. Alright, let's interrogate some people. I hate how long these title cards take. Hello! A lot of you are finished with your investigation already? As expected, the Bureau does work fast. Ah ha ha ha! Mr. Beck, why are you here? I called him in. If we're going to question everyone, I thought, who better to start with than the Vice President? The other two suspects should be with us soon. Well then, let's get right to it. Here's my Bureau file. He's the first to hand over his file to me directly. Mr. Beck, I see your skill is Coordinate-Based Object Transmission. Threat level STN? It's one above Colt. Skill is dangerous as an armored tank. It's the highest threat level ever shared with the public. What sort of skill do you possess exactly? With my skill, I can take an object within range and teleport it to any other location within range. But showing you would be faster than trying to explain it 100 times. Bam! Aha! How's that? That's pretty much it. Yep. Oof! Did she just hit him? Quite the painful location for that. Sorry to surprise. Oof! My gonads! Did she just hit him again? Right in the same place. In such cases, the damage doubles. Let's divide into two groups. Brian and I will take a look around the facility. Lena and Note can continue with this man's interrogation. Understood. Then let's go. We may be in for it with this one, though. I haven't had time to properly explain why. Anyway, I'll leave what documents I have. I'll have my spork upside down, so feel free to contact me if you run into any problems. Okay, so I actually remember the context on it. It's like they use magic sporks to communicate. I'm just saying things that sound insane if I say them out loud this whole stream. Surprisingly, she's quite the light puncher. No, it's that she normally prefers verbal attacks. Mr. Beck, did you perhaps mess with Pandy? Pandy? Yes, I may have laid a hand on her shoulder. Ah, that explains it. Sorry, Sergeant doesn't like to be touched. It's quite all right. I was the first to cross a line. Oh, God, everything hurts. That reminds me. The sergeant said she suffers from germophobia, right? That's why she didn't shake my hand. Germophobia? That's not why... Well, I can't be sure, can I? After all, I'm still in the middle of my studies into psychopathy. Psychopathy? I mean, Pandy's been in her fair share of situations, but I'll have to ask her about all that later on. Now that I'm thinking about it, we've been working together for a month now, but I still know almost nothing about the sergeant. Well then, shall we take Mr. Beck's statement? Right, of course. What should I tell you about? First off, it would be good to start with how you found out about the incident. Here, you may rest your hands on this table and feel free to speak from a place of tranquility. Righto, leave it to me. Oh-ho. I'd love to see the cooperative mindset. Let's go. Indeed, let's. Speak from a place of tranquility. What's that supposed to mean? Statement time? Ready, go. It was somewhere between noon and 1 when Miss Moko's scream echoed through the facility. Right when I heard the sound, I ran as fast as I could toward it. Though I was the last on the scene. When I saw the battered door to the office, I had a feeling something bad had happened. When I saw all that blood, my legs felt like rubber. That's when I found out that Mr. Thompson was dead. That's all I can remember. Okay, so an easy one to start with, it seems like. Was that enough? I guess we'll see about that, no? Note, consider this a warm-up. Do you remember how to use the information I collect during the statements? Of course. When our witnesses worked up are lying, we can detect fluctuations in their heartbeats. So if there's a statement I think might be false, I just have to connect the statement with the abnormal heartbeat, right? Yeah, normally I'd complain in a game when it's like giving you the tutorial over and over, but it's been 3 months real time since we've done this, so probably needed, to be fair. Well, take a look at the statement and see if there's anything that stands out to you. Why did I make Thena Canadian? She's British. She's literally the opposite of that. Is British the opposite of Canadian? I don't know why I said that. Like, what's the opposite of Canadian? American, I guess. Like, that seems to fit better. This has been a tangent. Okay, where was I? Okay, so, let's start by printing out... Okay, so I can't say, though... Okay, so the witness statement's already printed out. Let's, pin that. Just for now. Okay, so he's... Abnormal heartbeat talk, but he's talking about finding him dead, and maybe this one. Wait, no. Do I need to combine the clues on this? Okay, so he can't teleport himself. What were the logs again? Okay, no, collect the statement with the abnormal heartbeat. But I think maybe this... Oh, yep, guess so. Yeah, that didn't... It's like I could get him being stressed when he talks about being dead. I remember that being a thing. So, while you were coming through his statement, Right here, there's a lie in his statement. You found one already? Yep, are you surprised? Come to think of it, you're just that sort of bloke, aren't you? I guess I forgot over the course of a month. Excuse me, but about this lie, what are you getting at exactly? Don't you already know? Mr. Beck, the part about you running to the scene right when you heard the scream. You were lying. Wait, how did you come to that conclusion? Do you have any proof? The proof is in the abnormal heartbeat Detective Athena detected, but I can't let on that we're using skills just yet. How should I proceed? You're not quite as smart as you look. Excuse me? If we were bluffing, do you think we could have pointed out the exact part of your statement that was false? And speaking of us, we're already dead certain you were lying. You shouldn't keep on questioning us about every little thing and casting suspicion. You should be telling us the truth. That's your job in this. Detective Athena is a surprisingly good speaker at times like these. You see, it's a bit embarrassing. You're right. In truth, I couldn't head directly to the scene. I was in a situation I couldn't get away from. Yes, of course. So what were you doing at the time? Well, due to the nature of this facility, I don't think I can tell you that. If you try to back out now, you'll only cast suspicion on yourself. After all, in our eyes. Indeed, I am terribly sorry, yet it's my understanding that we have an agreement with the Bureau not to speak about any confidential information regarding the facility, no? Perhaps it was the Chief Inspector I spoke with? I got his permission. He said something about being your boss. Yes, indeed. Then shall we put a pin in that discussion for now? After all, we should be hearing from our other suspects. Indeed, you've both been terrific. I'll be seeing you. Detective? Chief! Fuck! Calm yourself, we've hardly begun our investigation. Right, but the fact is that Beck is hiding something. It shows us we've got a huge harvest to reap, right? The Chief, though. Someday I hope I get the chance to legally let him meet his maker. Chief, I'd like to offer up an early prayer for your passing. Stop lying! What's that sound? Sounds like it's coming from outside. There you are. Detective, sir, ma'am, you can take this human here into custody. No, they cannot! This man, he's the real criminal! Don't let him fool you! Oh, hey, Alcazar. Howdy, I think you've been here for a while. Excuse me, what are you two doing? Here now, both of you need to calm yourselves down first of all, and... to see anyone this so brazen in this wild world of ours, you've exceeded my expectations once again. I'm genuinely impressed. Bravo, bravo. Bravo? Really? I said calm down. Calm. Sorry. You only have to say it once. Why the need to repeat yourself? Well, at least you're calm now, right? I'd appreciate if you could refrain from shouting. You scare the creatures. Excuse me. You know what? Let's just move past that. Come to think of it, Brian mentioned sending in 2 more suspects. That must be you two. Suspects? I don't like the sound of that. I'm the handler in charge of the mammals, Kendrick Hawes. And I'm in charge of the reptiles. The name's Lisa Boko. I'm gonna throw out my voice doing this, lady. Lisa Moko. I feel like I've heard that name before at a lower volume. You were the first on the scene, right? Yes, that's right! Of course. Then let's start with Miss Moko. No, you should hear what I have to say first. Eh? I have no idea what lies she's about to spout off. What am I supposed to do if she slanders my name? It's quite alright. Well, fairly. Just do as this lunatic says. Alright then. Why are you giving in so quickly? You have something else up your sleeve? Seriously, then you go later. Okay then. Not a chance. That's playing right in her hand. I almost fell for it. Nice try. No, you loony. You know what? Yeah, you pillock, I fooled you. It was a trick. Hell spells, you caught me. No, seriously. I'm trying my hardest not to whip out a gun right now. Calm down, you two. Calm. Stop repeating yourself. No more repeats. You loon, you just don't like to be around you because you think I'm unclean or some nonsense. She ran off. So shall we start with my statement? Is it really over? It's over, right? Done. Finished. You really only need to say things once. Note, this guy's the criminal, right? I understand where you're coming from, but you can't let emotions cloud your judgment. My word, detective work really takes it out of you. So, shall I explain how I know Moko is the culprit? No, please start by telling me what you were doing at the time of the incident in question. After that, we'll get to each of your experiences and why you're butting heads so often. Okay, I guess we can do it how you bureau detectives insist. My job here mostly consists of looking after all our mammals. We've got quite the collection of mammals we breed here. But I heard screams coming from the reptile wing. And, of course, it's Moko who's in charge of the reptiles. Anyway, I headed in the direction of the screams and found all that madness. I could tell right away that someone had been killed. The last time I saw Mr. Thompson was at 11, so that gave Moko 2 hours to kill him. There, I told you what you wanted to know. It must be hard to care for all those mammals by yourself, huh? I imagine you must have some pretty big creature. I'm still not over it. No, actually, thanks to my skill, it's not that hard at all. I find it quite pleasant. Can't you tell that from my soothing voice? Do you have a skill that helps you take care of them? Of course, it's because of that skill that I got hired on. Note, his bureau files among the files Brian left behind. Mr. Hawes, your skill is possession-type animal manipulation, and your threat level is also SDN. Correct. And that's thanks to that threat level, life has been hard. I'm only allowed out during my allotted time, and even then it's only along the route designated for me. That must be difficult. Well, it is what it is. After all, my skill led me to this job, so it's not all bad. Surprisingly loyal, this one. Possession-type animal manipulation. So basically you're able to control animals? Of course, what else would that mean? True. Could you show us your skill? That might be hard right this second, don't you think? No reason to get worked up about it, though. I mean, I just can't reach. Can't reach what? Hold up a minute, I've got it somewhere. Found it. Take a look at this, it's a blueprint of the facility. We're in lounge number 2, right? The mammals, the catalyst for my skill, are just down this hall. That's the mammal wing. It's exactly 4 meters away. Yes, and it just so happens 4 meters of the range of my skill. Even if I were to put my hands to the wall and try to use my skill, I'd never reach the entrance of the mammal wing. That's why I said it'd be hard to show you. But if you were to accompany me to the mammal wing, I could then. Ahaha, so that's what you meant. I was just about to kill you before you got to the point of that one. Well then, please head back to the mammal wing for now. After we question Miss Moko, we'll head that way. Alright, pardon me, but... Yes? I mean, it's just... Oh, wait, back where I was, but don't you trust a word that comes out of that woman's mouth. What was that about you being about to kill him? What do you mean? Never mind. He didn't make any strange claims, did he? Oh, Jesus, you're back. Nothing strange, but quite enough to get me all worked up. To start, we just asked him what he was doing at the time of the incident. We're gonna ask you that same thing. I'm also really looking for an excuse to shoot someone, so... Tell the truth. Why is a person like that even working here? He seems proud enough of his work here as a handler. That's the part that gets under my skin the most! You can treat the livestock like humans, but you can't treat humans like livestock. I just can't see what he likes about those monsters. Then this work doesn't really suit you, Miss Moko? That ape is the only one who can find this job enjoyable. You know what it's like being welcomed every day by a 4-meter-long monstrosity. Oh yeah, we got a 682 in the corridor outside. We saw that giant creature outside the reptile wing. Are there similar creatures on the Babel side too? I'm going to make it through one of these lines without laughing, I swear. Yes, they've got one absolutely covered in fur! I had no idea they got that big. I figured it was stuffed, which almost led me to a spot of trouble. It's natural to be ignorant of that fact. After all, those things are for military use. Creatures are used as weapons? They were quite useful at the beginning of World War I. They're easier to mobilize than tanks. They can also devour a person faster than you could say Bob's your uncle. Though I never expected it to be Mr. Thompson who proved the story's true. Of course, that's how the victim died. If you hate creatures that much, why work here? The money! Makes sense. Right when the boss man saw my skill, he made me an extremely generous offer. Plus, there was nowhere else that wanted me. Speaking of which, your skill, Miss Moko, let's see here. Command base, animal manipulation. That's pretty similar to the skill on Hawes' file, huh? Honestly, they're practically the same skill. We're both just controlling animals. Oh god, this is absolutely fucking my throat, and not in the fun way. Would you like me to show you? Is that alright? Sure, just give me a second, I'll call one over. Sure is taking a while. Seems like she's here. Would you open the door? What? What's this, a turtle? She's adorable. This is the animal I first saw locked in a cage when I entered the woods facility. This is a pet creature. She's the only one worth looking at in the whole reptile wing. Would you like to pet her? I could make her stay still. Can you make her do somersaults? I can't give her any orders outside of simple movements, plus I don't think she has the body composition for that. You can even control the animals you can't see. Yes, it's possible, generally speaking, if I know their approximate location. That just doesn't just go for me. I'm sure it's the same with most skills people have. I'll send her back to the reptile wing now. Have a safe trip back. Had to mute for a second to clear my throat after that. Giving her this voice was a horrible mistake. With that skill, I bet you make the perfect animal handler. I do! Feeding the creatures for the military would be especially hard without it. They eat an enormous amount of food, so we have special feeding areas for them. Thus, we use our skills to move those animals to their designated rooms during feeding times. Ah, that last part. Could I get that on the record? Sure, I'll mention it again when I talk about how I came upon what was left of the body. Right? Well then. Rest your hands on this table and speak from a place of tranquility. Thanks, Alcazor. I honestly didn't think I was that talented. I just wanted to put a little more effort into it than last time when I gave everyone the same voice. Oh, dang it, I've been doing Thena so long that now my voice is just automatically doing the Canadian, or like, Hoosier cadence that I gave her. Okay, oh no, I have to do more of her. The creatures we breed for the military are violent and will eat anything in front of them, so it's quite difficult to feed them in their cages. That's why we prepare their meals for them in a separate containment area and then move them that way. They can weigh over 100 kilograms, but they're quite easy to move with our skills. Well, the military creature feeds, I resident lounge number 1 next door. When mealtime is over, I return the creature back to its cage and return to the reptile wing. The skill Hawes has is similar to mine, but for some reason his threat level is higher than mine. It's normally around 1 o'clock when we finish feeding the big ones, and that's when I found out Mr. Thompson was dead. I think that's it. Thanks, I'm trying my best. This is new for me. I see. I'm beginning to understand just why you and Mr. Hawes thought each other the culprits. Well, what? Why's that? For that, we first need a good understanding of the layout of this facility. This facility divided its creatures and their care into 2 wings. One for the mammals and one for the reptiles. The reason they laid it out that way is probably due to the special characteristics of their animal handlers. So we need to figure out the reason for dividing it like that, which I assume is like the range of the people. Like we've got Kendrick, who can use his from 4 meters away. So, and needs to work on mammals. So he's here. Yeah. And then she has a max of 20 meters and can use her power on reptiles. So, I assume it has to do with the catalyst. I wasn't sure if I need to pick a specific thing. But yeah. Because of their catalysts, Miss Moko and Mr. Hawes, they both have skills that allow them to control animals, but the subjects of their control, their catalysts, are opposite. Miss Moko's skill allows her to control reptiles, while Mr. Hawes' skill allows him to control mammals. That's why this breeding facility is separated into a reptile wing and a mammal wing, and is also why each wing is left to the person able to use their skill to control them. Yes, that's right. For what I heard, they originally didn't have the creatures separated by reptile and mammal, managing to care for them regardless. Oh, I see. What's all this have to do with our case, though? Just as this breeding facility is divided into 2 wings, the crux of this case is also divided between the 2 areas. The crux? Yes, in a way, you could say that they act as the murder weapons in this case. They're mentioned several times in the documents we've drawn up. So the murder weapons would be the animals, right? I guess it would be this thing about the screams coming from the reptile wing, or... Yeah, we're looking for something to point out that that's the animals, I guess. Maybe the thing about the creatures being violent. There we go. The creature's bred for the military? Miss Moko, there's a military creature in the mammal wing, but you're unable to control it, right? So for that one, it's up to Mr. Hawes to do the controlling, right? Yes, he controls his much the same way I do mine. And just as I rested up in the number 1 lounge, Hawes would have been sitting here in the number 2 lounge while he used his skill. Of course, so in other words, you and Mr. Hawes have one military creature each that you're responsible for controlling. It's possible for each of you to move your creature wherever you wish. Ah, that's why you called them murder weapons. The crime scene where you found the remnant of the body was an absolute wreck, as if something had been let loose to rampage inside there. But if we have to actually deduce that, I thought that was like the obvious thing. Miss Moko, when you saw the crime scene, you believed it to be one of the military creatures that carried out the crime, right? I did. And there lies our problem. We have 2 people able to send a military creature into that room. Moko and Hawes. That's what Miss Moko wished to tell us. She wanted to say she wasn't the killer, so it must have been Mr. Hawes who killed him. That's what Mr. Hawes presumed as well. If he wasn't the killer, it must have been Miss Moko who sent her creature into Mr. Thompson's office. The 2 possibilities are completely opposed to one another. That's right. There are 2 suspects. In order to prove their own innocence, they each had no choice but to accuse the other of being the killer. Logical! Well, I seem to have a general sense of what's going on. This case is more complicated than I thought. However, we may be able to solve it surprisingly easily. What? You really think so? It's obvious, but the creatures in the reptile and mammal wings are completely different classes of animals. Their footprints are going to be easy to distinguish. If we can just get prints from the creature who attacked the victim at the scene of the crime. Ah, we'll be able to see which creature gulped down the victim. That'll lead us straight to our culprit. Indeed, it will. It's really that simple. All we need is to ask Brian to make a trace photo, then we're done. Hey, Brian. Don't start yelling out of the blue. You've scared me. Sorry. Where are you? We just uncovered a huge clue. I'm in the mammal wing right now with the Sarge. If you turn left once you leave the interrogation room, you can't miss us. Okay, we're on our way. We're going to wrap this case up in a jiffy. Alright, just don't run. We don't need you taking another spill. What? Oh, okay. Our little friend Brian seems down in the dumps for some reason. Think so. Come to think of it, Detective Brian has been looking like he's been wanting to say something. I just hope he doesn't have anything too big on his plate. Normally, if someone's saying that, it's big. Good old genre-savvy Thena. Alright, we're back in the cages. Oh, big fuzzy boy here. Is that everything? Yes, and I'm absolutely ashamed of myself. It is rather cumbersome. Of course, we do have a problem, don't we? Note, are you already done with the interrogations? Sort of. More importantly, though, Note says he can solve the case. That's good news. What do you need from me? Detective Brian, you've created a trace photo of the crime scene, yes? If we can see the footprints of the creature that entered the scene of the crime, we'll know just who our culprit is. Those are some very awkward ellipses. And that response. What's wrong? You're making me nervous. Before I explain, take a look at this. It's a trace photo we recorded of the mammal wing just a moment ago. Huh? There isn't a single footprint. That's the bad news. This facility is particularly concerned with sanitation, meaning there's a system that automatically cleans the entire facility at regular intervals. Every day at 3 o'clock p.m., sluice gates in each room slide open. Sluice is a fun word. Sluice, 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 sluice. And the debris that is collected on the floor is washed down the drain. Oh, no. After our victim was killed, the system activated a single time. So, we have 0 footprints in the whole facility. What? Then our creature's footprints are gone. And that's why he said he wasn't going to be of much help before. Thus, I must apologize. It seems my skill isn't going to be of much use for this case. You have no reason to apologize, do you? You don't really have any fault in this. I'm afraid I do. Whatever the reason, I am unable to carry out the job that has been assigned to me. This is no matter of fault. It is a matter of confiding in someone. And in these circumstances... Huh? Don't worry about him. He gets like this sometimes. I thought he was starting to get better about it, but anyway, these suspects are really grinding my gears. Let's stop with the belly aching and get to investigating. Fuck, bro, let's break us some kneecaps. Here, let me help you out. No, this is a matter of my skill, so I don't think you'll be of much help. Whatever. Get over here. Well then, shall we investigate the scene? Are you okay, Sergeant? Regarding what? Never mind. We're going to do a memory survey of this place, right? Indeed. If you see anything of interest in the mammal wing, just let me know. I'll read the memories of this place. Alright, investigation time. Let's clicky-clicky. Got the small cage here. This cage hasn't been opened recently. Must be feeling rather confined in there. This pig looks more fleshed out than your average pig. It's a creature, right? It's such a fucking stupid word. Oink! Is it hungry? This breed is rather famous for its meat. Does that mean the people at the Woods facility were the ones who discovered it? Sergeant, was that sausage from before, I think your presumption is correct there. Oink? Sorry, you're far too delicious to be part of the team. It seems as though the statements you took are not wrong. This cage is opened at the same time each day. Though I can't tell you the precise time, I imagine it's at feeding time, as the creature handler said. The door looks significantly smaller than the creature, so how does it get out? Its fur may be making it look bigger than it is. I bet you could tell by poking the thing, but are you sure you'd want to try? You'd be throwing away a perfectly good finger. No thanks, I couldn't touch the pen in my handwriting without my index finger. Okay. Same goes for me. I couldn't do my pose without my index finger either. Me too. I need my index finger to make my finger gun. I guess that leaves me. You know we're joking, right? Yeah, you know what this reminds me of? It's like, have you ever seen It's like a bit in Phineas and Ferb where like it was like the episode with, like, I think Doofenshmirtz's backstory involved like his dad winning a pet dog that he named Only Son, and so Doofenshmirtz wanted to wreck a pet show or something because of it. But yeah, it was like he wanted it a game of something called Poke the Goozin with a Stick, and it's just like this giant, horrifying looking like ball of fur that's like so big it's just fully cubical inside the cage it's in. It's just like too small for the cage. It just looks silly. Like the cage is too small for it, I mean. But yeah, it's like, oh no, it's like, no one else, it's like pile of swine. That's what it's given, pile of swine, really big pile of swine. I know how this is going. I know exactly where this is going. You cannot have a detective game without that reference. What's a ladder doing here? Maybe they needed to take care of things higher up. It carries a memory of having been moved here recently. Seems it was used elsewhere, too. But note, this is no ordinary ladder. It's a folding step ladder. She did it! We said the thing! She said the thing! She said the line! Game over! We're done! We did it, boys! Woo! She said the line! Okay, I'm done. Right. Let's be more precise, note. Right, sorry. Am I bugging you? No, it's just... I don't think the two of us would last very long anyway. What? Where's this coming from? Yeah, I think my favorite iteration of this one is Tyrion Cuthbert, the other, like, magic detective game that I talked about a bit on the first Sapphire Case stream. It's like, they have a bit in that one where they have, like, they finally get to, like, a room with a ladder, and your partner just said, and you just say, that's a ladder, and your partner goes, I agree, and that's the end of the conversation. It's just, like, hilarious. Sometimes subversion works if you do it right. Anyway, let's look at that drain. The slats on that drain sure are big. Make sure you don't slip through. Brian said that they flush this place with water every day, so all sorts of refuse must wash through here. This grating has been opened a few times recently. Since I can hear Beck's voice, it must have been he who opened it. Why open the grate? Even with openings this large, was there something that couldn't fit past them? Must have been something. Off-limits door? Anyone could tell from a single look that this door is suspicious. Generally speaking, the door with a sign that says staff only must be investigated. However, it's good we haven't checked behind it yet. What? Why? We have orders from the chief not to investigate back there. Beck made a special request to the Bureau. Seriously, that only adds to my suspicions. I agree, but it seems that the ties between this facility and the Bureau run deep. We mustn't be reckless. After all, we're no police officers. No matter how mediocre our support or the number of restrictions placed on us, we must endure and continue our investigation. The Sergeant seems to have her fair share of complaints. What on earth is back there? Probably just stairs leading down to the basement. Huh? How do you know that? The vibrations I can pick up don't end with heartbeats. When I knock on the door, I can get a vague picture of what's behind it. Oh, that must be useful. It is. It really comes in handy when I have to take a shot through a door. That's not what I meant. If there's a basement, it probably runs toward the lab down there. It's probably the only way to get there. Note, write down what we learned here on the memory survey. Okay, what else do we gotta click? Oh, is that it? That should do it. Did you jot all that down? Yes, here you go. Not half bad. Of course, what's past that door still concerns me. If that's true, you do well to remember that place. However, it's Beck's order that's keeping us out of there. If we find out what's back there or that he's involved with the case, even Beck won't be able to stop us from investigating it. I see. I'll keep that in mind. Well then, I need to stop by my car for a moment. Check out someplace else while I do. Why your car? There's something I need in there. Get to it. She's always leaving me like this. Have you found anything out, Detective Brian? I can't say I've found nothing, but... No, look at this! It's a monkey! Very astute. I can see that. Yep, a monkey. And is there a reason you're showing it to me? He's got 2 tails! And... he's cute! Put that thing back in its cage, otherwise you'll be tried for larceny. Why are you being like that? He came to me of his own free will. If you're going to lie, come up with something more believable. She's right. Look, he says so too. Right, now put it back in its cage. You're surprisingly good at ventriloquism. I thought it was really the monkey talking. Ventriloquism? Huh? 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 My hairs are standing on end. Ow! Are creatures usually able to speak? No, I've never heard of any creature that's developed the intelligence necessary to talk. Wow, they've got all sorts of creatures here. Hey, monkey, what's your name? Human, kill, dominate, exterminate, restore, select superior genes. For the first time in my life, I wish I was more like my dad because he has a killer Mojo Jojo voice and that would be perfect here. He's got both specific and extremely disturbing ideas. How's about we cut it out with the jokes? Not enjoying yourselves. Mr. Hawes. Oh. Now, back home with you, Anderson. Huh? Suddenly acting like a monkey again? Of course, he's just a monkey. Have you not figured it out yet? The talking monkey, was that your skill at work? It was. I told you I'd show you my skill when you dropped by the mammal wing. Like you said before, your skill allows you to control mammals, similar to Moko's skill. Although, there do seem to be slight differences. Seems like you've gotten a good look around the mammal wing. Well, we've seen what we need to. And what do you think? I apologize, but we're not allowed to disclose the details of our investigation. I do hope you understand. Not about that. About my little friends. Cute, no? And by friends, you mean the creatures. Please stop. Is there anything else here you'd call cute? Right. I mean, I guess you could call them cute if you caught them at the right angle. Yep, you got that right. Reptiles are nice and all, but for that patented soft touch, you gotta turn to the mammals. Would you like to pet them? No thanks, I still value my hands. Then you're just wasting your time. I doubt there's anything left here that'll help with your investigation. For you to conclude that, it must be because you suspect Miss Moko to be the killer, huh? Of course. You know what her skill is, right? So you think Miss Lisa Moko used her skill to move her large creature? It's worse when you say it like that. Why? So you think Miss Lisa Moko used her skill to move her large creature into the victim's office? Of course. Why are you even asking me when you clearly know the answer already? Oh no, you were just as capable of the act, were you not? Me? What do you mean? It wasn't me. Can you prove that? I don't need to. After all, I know I'm not the murderer. A lot of help that is. You're the type of bloke who only sees the world from his own perspective. People like you make my head hurt. Mr. Brian Hall. Sorry, not Mr. Brian. Mr. Hawes. We heard that you were also using your skill to bring your creature. 1 second, I need water. That you're also using your skill to bring your creature bread for the military to feed. I am not parsing that sentence right. Thus, you, like Miss Moko, were at your lounge, yes? Your creature bred for the military to feed. That's how you're supposed to read that. No, I don't normally use the lounge. Then you didn't leave this room at the time of the incident? Not just the time of the incident. I try my best to leave the mammal wing as little as possible. Why's that? Without a chair to sit on, I doubt you could rest very well in here. It's because of my friends, of course. If I were to take my eyes off of them for a second and something happened, it'll only spell trouble for me. Plus, I can just sit on the ladder when I want to rest. I don't really need a chair. By ladder, you're referring to the step ladder over there. Huh? You're talking about my ladder, right? It's a ladder, not a step ladder, boy. Get it right. Gotta be precise, you know? You mean to say that's a step ladder, not a ladder? You really need to call it a step ladder? Let's just call it a ladder, then. The important thing is that Mr. Hawes does not use his lounge. But Lisa Moko was sure he used that room now. How does this change things? Mr. Hawes, the lounge meant for you is the place where we're currently conducting our questioning. Isn't that right? Yes, I guess so. Why, are you meaning to check it out? I apologize, but we cannot disclose details about the investigation. Right. You mentioned that. Do what you will. Can I get back to work? Yes, and thank you for your cooperation. The way he talks, it makes my skin crawl. Honestly, I'm really enjoying doing his voice. I can manage that one better than the whatever monstrosity I used for Moko. Detective Brian, would you like to investigate the lounge? Let's. It's on the way to the reptile wing anyway. It would probably be best to check out both lounges. Though, there will probably be no footprints in either. Still, best to get it out of the way. We can investigate what we can. Alright, here we are. Ooh. I hope my attempt at doing the voices is making up for the lack of, actual commentary in this one. I've had this thought a few times now, but these people really don't care much about interior design. These rooms could do with a few decorations. This is the lounge between the mammal wing and the office, so we must be right here on the map, right? This is the place set up for Mr. Hawes, but he just said that he barely comes in here. Now that I'm thinking about it, the reason we're using this as our interrogation room is because Beck said the room's not in use right now. Detective Brian, how's it look? Can you see anything? I'm quite sure Kendrick Hawes wasn't lying. I can't see a single print left by him. In fact, the only prints I see were made by Lisa Moko. On top of that, her prints were made on the day in question. Huh? You're telling me that Miss Moko was in here? That's odd. Moko has her own lounge. She clearly stated that her lounge was to the left of the office. This lounge is to the right. What was Miss Moko doing in here? Don't tell me, did she have to be in here to carry out the murder? Why come all this way? If we wish to figure out why Miss Moko was here, we should investigate every place we're allowed access to. Note, please record the following on a trace photo. I doubt Sarge's memory survey trick will show you anything more. Understood. If there's anything you need to look at, just tell me. let's get to it. Yeah, the cue cards on these are so slow. The transitions take forever. Okay, let's see. The cabinet is filled with cleaning supplies. No prints in here either. The most recent trace I can find seems to be about a month old. Like they said, the cleaning's done automatically, so there's not much use for all of this. Detective Brian, you can see trace that's a month old? That's right. The trace is well preserved. I can see it years after. Most trace disappears long before that, though. I see. Ooh, floor? As expected, there are no footprints from the day in question in here either. The only footprints I see are ours. And the floors here are cleaned automatically as well? That interferes with our case, but it's quite helpful when it comes to cleanliness, no? How about we grab one for our office, too? That might be difficult. This system pumps water onto the floor and into a drain. We don't have a drain and our office is on the second floor. Fuck, bro. Whoever lives below us gets a free swimming pool. A drain? Couldn't I just make one of those with a few bullet holes? What did the people downstairs ever do to you? No matter how many times I check, I'm sure the prints on the table were made by Moko. Why are Moko's prints here? This isn't the lounge she uses. Haven't figured that out yet. One thing's for sure, this is very suspicious. Okay, what else we got? The door. How about checking the door handle? Why? It's obvious that we'll find Moko's prints on it. Still, we don't have much information to go on, so it would be good to collect whatever we can. Huh? What's wrong? Is there a problem? It can't be. There are no prints. What? Did someone wipe the prints? No, that's not it. There's no trace of anyone wiping prints or anything. No one has used this handle before us. That can't be possible. If you want to leave a room, you have to touch the door handle. Right, and Miss Moko's prints are in here. We're sure she was here. So how'd she get out? Well, seems as though we stumbled upon a clue here. I think we've investigated everything we need to. I filled out all the pertinent information. Quick and accurate, as expected. I envy the Sarge for having you at her side. If I were to give my slow and accurate opinion, the most concerning part of this is how Moko managed to leave the room. Right. After all, there are no prints on the door. If only the footprints remained, we might be able to figure that part out. Hey, note. Yes? He's right, though. If only the footprints remained. Why do you keep getting all depressed, Detective Brian? It's not like you erased the footprints. Well, he is sort of like this anyway. Of course I'm well aware of that. It's hard to overlook that fact, considering the mess my specialty has put you in. I only wish to redeem myself just as soon as I can. Then, shall we give you a chance to do just that? Sarge, did you find what you needed? Yes, a present for you. A flashlight. Keep that on you from now on. They really need to whisper. I mean, Andy's just sort of like this. Detective Thena, it seems like you follow the logic of those two. Of course, because I'm one of them. At the very least, I've got to try my hardest not to turn out like them. Okay, I'm counting on you. Honestly, I'm not too sure about this, but since it's you who's asking, Sarge, I'll consider it a matter of utmost importance. It is of utmost importance, and it's something only you can do, Brian. Understood. Well then, I shall return. I'll be looking forward to seeing what you turn up. What exactly did you ask him to do? What? Is not important enough to warrant explanation. I'm not totally sure of what you'll find, so just think of it as an insurance plan. Poor Detective Brian. Still, this may be better for him. But, what's our plan now? Are you going to read the memories here? That would be an okay move, but I think it'd be better to move on to the rooms we haven't investigated at all first. There's one more lounge here, right? This is lounge number 1, the one assigned to Miss Moko. According to her testimony, Miss Moko came here each time she controlled her creature. Every time I forget how stupid that word is. I think I'm kinda getting over it now, at least. Looking at the map, this room is to the left of the office, correct? I'm not sure if it's just because they're part of the same building, but this lounge doesn't look all that different from the last. Yet we're certainly in a different room, so our investigation may turn up different things. Right, shall we try our hand? Our hand? Our? Detective Thena doesn't really do anything during these investigations, though, right? Well then, if either of you sees anything you wish to investigate, just point it out. Alright, let's get to clicking, baby. Once they let us. Come on. Ooh, we got a picture frame. There's a picture frame here. It seems as though this frame hasn't been moved for a very long time. There's a high probability that this picture was taken to commemorate some big event. Huh? This person in the middle, doesn't that look like the vice president? It seems that way. The typical look of an opportunist. And next to him, maybe the victim. Considering how young they both look, this picture must have been taken a long time ago. Who are all the people around them? Well, perhaps we can ask someone about that later on. What else we got? Can we do the table? Let's hit the door. Sergeant, could you check the memories from this door's handle? Sure. Nothing stands out. One person regularly enters the room before leaving 20 minutes or so later. Probably Moko. Why the door handle? Nothing. Nothing at all. She must sit here when she's feeding her... Nope, I'm not over it. She must sit here when she's feeding her creature, right? She's the sort who talks to herself. The table's memories tell the same story. If she's talking to herself, what's it about? 10% complaints about Beck, 10% gripes with the world, and 80% cursing out Hawes. So, mostly cursing out Hawes. Seems like nothing that will help our case. Anything over here, up here? Oh, there's a book here. What's this? Stock Markets for Suckers Intermediate Level? The title sounds really familiar. It's mostly people who want to quit their jobs who read these books. She could just be reading it because she's curious about the topic. She must be extremely curious to have read the same book cover to cover 4 times. Looking rather desperate, Miss Moko. Stock market's a sucker's game anyway. Gambling, that's where it's at. 90% of gamblers quit just before they win big, baby. Hit them slots and don't look back. For legal reasons, this is a joke. Well, it seems like there aren't any memories of our culprit remaining. All we can tell is that Miss Moko used this room often. And it's just like her statement. She just quietly relaxes in here. Even if Moko were our culprit, she wouldn't need to move her physical self around. She would just have to use her skill. Then it would be her creature. I'm so sorry. Then it would be her creature that carried out her dirty work. In other words, investigating this room turned up nothing of use. For now, at least. And for the same reason, it's most likely we won't find any decisive clues wherever we go. Well then, instead of just running around blindly in this case, it might be good to sort out what we've got so far. Considering I still don't know all the details yet, it might be better for you two to sort things out. One way or another, we're only certain of one thing right now. The victim was eaten by one of this facility's creatures. Our problem is, who sent the creature into that room? That's the gist of it. Okay, I'm calling the twist now, because I remember something similar. Wait, no. Calling the possible twist now, but they might catch me out on this because they've been pretty tricky with the real and last one. I think they're putting us onto the two creature handlers for a reason. It's Beck. He used his teleportation power. He poofed 682 or whatever into the room, let it eat the guy, and then poofed him back out. Because they said they'll eat anything put in front of them. He could do it. Our handlers, Mr. Hawes and Miss Moko, are pointing fingers at each other. After all, each has a skill that lets them control animals. The one who isn't the criminal is going to automatically assume the other is the criminal. Are those two our only suspects? What do you mean? The Vice President, 9 Beck. Why don't the two handlers suspect him? The Vice President? Does that mean you're suspecting Mr. Beck for this? Oh no, they're raising it already. That means it's wrong. As far as I'm aware, Beck's skill is coordinate-based object transmission. In other words, teleportation, right? Yep, we got it wrong. Immediately proven wrong. Record time. Thus, using his skill, it's possible he could have teleported one of the creatures into that room. Oh, that's right. Were the handlers unaware of that fact? We were made aware of that fact right when we set foot in the door that first time, so there's no chance they wouldn't know about Mr. Beck's skill. So clearly, because they know about Mr. Beck's skill, they know it was impossible for him to have committed the crime. You think it was impossible for Beck to have used his skill to move one of the larger creatures to the scene of the crime? I'll have to check the documents again. I bet there's like a weight limit or something. That's right. If you check out this document, you'll see for yourself, Sergeant. Okay, new crazy theory before I solve this. It is Beck, but he didn't teleport the creature. He teleported the victim to the creature, let it kill him, teleported him back to the crime scene. Like, while the victim was, like, getting eaten, he staged the crime scene to look like a creature had attacked him there, and then teleported him back to the center room to make it look like the crime scene was there to throw suspicion off him because he couldn't have teleported a creature there. So that's my crazy theory for now, if any of that made sense. Okay, where was he again? So it's probably like his range. He couldn't have teleported one of the super dangerous creatures all the way there. But I think he was involved somehow, because there was that table in the other room that was someone touched, but no one touched the doorknob, so he did something with that. Oh no, it's the weight down here. I didn't see it. I thought I pinned... Oh, I have to unpin this first. That's stupid. Sergeant, have a look at this. A bureau file. If you take a close look at the information written here, you can see that his skill carries certain limitations. Was that here this whole time? I see. A weight limit. Right. Mr. Beck is only able to teleport objects under 60 kilograms. According to Miss Moko's statement, the creatures bred for the military, the ones she suspected this, all weigh over 100 kilograms. I'm not sure about the other creatures, but it would have been impossible for Mr. Beck to use his skill to move one of the ones bred for the military. Indeed, as the situation stands, 9 Beck can't be our culprit. This time you took me out with a single shot, Note. It's sort of a given. You were out of the room during Mr. Beck's interrogation, Sergeant, and you were never able to get a good look at his file. And Detective Thena... Detective Thena? Detective Thena? Should I just head home? No! You're clearly... Give me a second to think. You were busy carrying out the actual interrogation, right, Thena? Yep, I guess she was, huh? Yep, that's it. Regardless, the handlers seem to agree that it was impossible for Mr. Beck to have committed the crime, which is why they each suspect the other. For now, let's exclude Mr. Beck from our list of suspects. Logical. We're making progress. Well then, let's summarize what we learned so far from Hawes and Moko's statements. Focus and open your ears, everyone. The estimated time of death of the victim lines up with the creature's feeding time. At that time, the 2 creature handlers normally lead their creatures into the feeding areas. Of course, they're each using their animal control skills to do so. Was there any difference in the ways they went about that? If there was any difference, it's that Moko went into lounge number 1 before using her skill. But it seems that Mr. Hawes used his skill without leaving the mammal wing, right? Ah, and of course there's the difference in the animals they're able to control. Moko is able to move creatures from the reptile wing, and Hawes is able to move creatures from the mammal wing. That's rather interesting. If you take a look at the map, Hawes was considerably farther away from the crime scene than Moko. That's right, but using their skills, both of them would have been able to move their creatures to the crime scene. So it's possible that either of them carried out the crime, thus why each of them suspects the other. Note, why are you so quiet? Did you figure something out? It's just, I'm a little surprised by the accuracy of your summary. That's mean. I'm going home. Ah, and of course I did figure something out. Part of the summary you just gave is bothering me. The part was, well, let me just explain using the transcript. Alright, transcript time, baby. Okay. So, yeah, I've probably got a supporter propose that. 1 second. Sorry, I need to blow my nose 1 sec. Get a quick drink of water. Okay, where were we? Let's see here. So, both... Let's see, what are the range limits again? Wait, we want to... Hold on. Where's the... Back, we gotta pin the transcript. Yeah, his range is like a max 4 meters, but... Then again, that could mean that he only needs to be within 4 meters to control them initially, and then he can keep controlling them when they're out of that range. But, let's test this out. I think this might be what... Because, like, we're supposed to... If I remember the first case right, we're supposed to bounce around a couple theories that don't pan out in order to pin down the right answer. In order for Miss Moko and Mr. Hawes to have murdered the victim, they would, of course, have had to use their skills to move a creature to the crime scene. However, one of our handlers would have been unable to move a creature to the crime scene. What? How so? It's just as the sergeant said, the 2 handlers were different distances from the crime scene. Lounge 1, where Miss Moko was, is right up against the main office. but the mammal wing, where Mr. Hawes was, is over 8 meters away. What's wrong with the Ah! Of course! The ranges! That's right, Moko can use her skill on anything within 20 meters, meaning she can use her skill from the lounge to bring creatures to the reptile wing. On the other hand, Mr. Hawes only has a range of 4 meters for his skill. If he was using said skill from the mammal wing, he couldn't reach that far. That means, indeed, Mr. Hawes would have been unable to commit the crime with his skill. Then our criminal is probably... Before we get to that, there's one more thing I'd like to check. Huh? What might that be? I just read through the statements, and it seems that Hawes never made an official statement that he was in the mammal wing. Huh? But... now that you say it. When we met him in the mammal wing, he never said for certain whether he was there at the time of the incident. I don't think Hawes was aware of Thena's skill in trying to trick us. But there's still the possibility that Hawes was somewhere other than the mammal wing when he used his skill. So, we'd better be sure before we jump to any conclusions. Was Hawes actually in the mammal wing? If not, was there somewhere else where he could have been? Is there evidence that Hawes was at the mammal wing around noon? Do you have anything that can prove that? Okay, so do we bring him in, or do we have to go through the notes to prove he was in the mammal wing? Okay, probably one of the trace photos. Oh yeah, he said he sits on the step ladder. Around 12 o'clock. Now that I'm really thinking about it, we asked Mr. Hawes why he didn't use his lounge later on, outside of his official interrogation. He said that he didn't like to be away from the creatures in the mammal wing. He went on to say something else. He said that though he had no chair, he would often sit on the ladder. The ladder. The step ladder. Ah, you should have called it that before. According to the trace photo, there's evidence that someone was sitting on the ladder in the mammal wing. What time was the trace left? 12 on the nose. Good. That lines up with the feeding time for the mammal wing. All of the footprint evidence was washed away, but there's other trace evidence in its place. I wish Brian could hear you say that. Indeed. I'm still alive, you know. Right, and working hard. Regardless, the important thing right now is that Hawes couldn't have used his skill like that at the time of the murder. So, just to put it out there once more, if someone sent a creature to the scene of the crime, we've only got one person who could have done it. Lisa Moko. It seems as though we found our culprit. Logical enough. I'm gonna have to do her voice again, aren't I? Pray for me. Head into the reptile wing. Hey, sorry. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hey, food type beasties. You like that? Is it tasty? Why is it the most reptiles eat bugs? Quiet down, I told you I'd feed you later. You ate twice your share yesterday, aren't you full? We've got people from the Bureau roaming the halls. No good would come from a big guy like you running around. If you were caught, you would die both. What would happen exactly? Well, I guess that depends on how you all are viewing me. And that depends on what you say from now on. Though it may be of no use. Is that the creature the reptile wing bred for the military? Yes, and... What's it normally eat? We normally you buy up all the bits the slaughterhouses throw out at a low price. Well then, seems like it wouldn't object to a nice meaty snack. Good, I see what's going on. However, like I said before, what's possible for me is possible for that tosser Hawes, too. No, that's not true. Oh, what's that? No, I told you! When Mr. Hawes was controlling his creature, he wasn't in the lounge. He was in the mammal wing instead. If you think about the range of Hawes' skill, he couldn't have sent his creature to the crime scene. The only one who could have done that is you, Miss Moko. Ah! It would be good for you to just confess. I'm not threatening you, but truly, continuing to make excuses is unlikely to change the conclusion we've reached. Also, I'm threatening you. Like, you can't see it behind the other girl, on the sergeant's sprite, but I'm back in heat. If you're claiming this lizard could have eaten Mr. Thompson, you're right. Got her. However, I didn't mean for it to do that. Huh? What do you mean? You're the only one who can control reptiles. I'm not saying Halls did it. It's just, it was an accident. She's right. That certainly changes things. Well then, shall we hear what she has to say? Yesterday at noon, I went to the lounge as usual. Then I used my skill on this creature in the reptile wing. I'm sure I sent it to eat at the feeding room to my left looking in. The feeding room to her left looking in, that's going to be on the map. And I didn't step foot outside the lounge until around 12:20. When I did leave the lounge around 12:30, wouldn't you know my creature was in the office? I have no idea how it happened, but by the time I figured it out, Mr. Thompson had already crossed Rainbow Bridge. I knew you'd all suspect me for the crime. I played dumb and acted like my visit to the office at 1 o'clock was my first. Why didn't you tell us this from the start? Would you have believed me if I had? No. Honestly, I'm having a hard time believing you now. See? It's not enough to be shouting about, though. Even though you claim it was an accident, you tried to pin it on Hawes, didn't you? Regardless, Mr. Thompson's death was an accident! Though it was, of course, due to negligence on my part. I'm not a killer! Sergeant, what happens in a case like this? If it truly was an accident, the sentence will be lighter than if it were a murder. Moko will probably only be held in a general internment camp for a few months. I don't think anything called an internment camp has ever been good. That's presuming it really was an accident. Indeed, that is the problem. Moko could be lying to get off with a lighter punishment, right? Thus, it's our job now to figure out if it was or wasn't an accident. The incident was caused by a skill, so can we actually figure that out? We can't be sure just yet, but if Moko is lying, there's a good possibility that there's something fishy in her statement. We have no choice but to sniff out what that might be. Is there something off about the statement she just gave? No matter how small, if there's something that contradicts the information we've collected thus far. Alright, let's get digging, boys. Okay. Where we got her? Moko 2, I think. Okay, no traces in the office. Lounge number... Hold on. Okay, so we want to pin this. Let's see. So she's in the reptile room. So she went to the lounge. On her left looking in. So yeah, that's the right room. We're to lounge number 1. Here's lounge number 1. There's no trace photo for lounge number 1, so that's so we can't pin anything down for the time. The picture that hasn't been moved. Door handle was used normally. Book was read 4 times. Yeah, nothing really useful here. You know, maybe it's... hold on, let's check the statements here. Anything about anyone? Okay. So I'm gonna... Wait, hold on. So maybe it is, like, I'm misreading how this is supposed to be read, and it isn't actually on the left. That looks like a leading statement. Nope. Do anything with the, nope, nothing in the transcript. Okay, so... we don't have anything of the reptile wing. Somewhere between noon and 1 that Miss Moko screamed. That she screamed. Body discovered at 1. Wait, no. Gotta keep this pinned. Wait, hold on. Maybe this is a fingerprint. Yeah, there we go. She left fingerprints in another room. Miss Moko, you said you didn't step foot outside that lounge. Right, not one toe. Hey, note. She might be telling the truth. I remember not sensing any oddities in her heartbeat at that time. Yes, I'm well aware. If that's the case, how do you explain this? We have evidence of you leaving that room. Excuse me? We searched the second lounge, originally meant for Mr. Hawes, and we found your fingerprints, Miss Moko. Athena, what time were those left? Let's see. Here, they overlap with the creature's feeding time, no? That's true. Miss Moko, when did you enter lounge number 2? What are you talking about? I never went in there. Huh? I didn't even know what the inside of that room looked like. Has there been some sort of mistake? Then, Miss Moko, you claimed that you were in the number 1 lounge the whole time. The tables got switched. Definitely Beck is involved here somehow. That's what I told you! Well then, can you tell us what you were doing in there? What I do every day! Read my book! Come to think of it, I didn't see the picture that's normally in there, so I looked for it under the table. I thought it might have fallen off. That's also rather odd. Excuse me? Because according to our investigation, things couldn't have happened like that. Right, according to our info. Yeah, the picture hasn't been moved, right? So, let's see. That'd be this one. Simple one there. Easy solve. Miss Moko, regarding the photo you're referring to, are you talking about the one on the table? The one with young Mr. Beck and the victim? Yes, that's right. From what I heard, it's a picture taken of Woods' founding members. Oh, but I counted about 10 people in that picture. Seems that your team was a lot bigger back then. A while back, there was a conflict regarding which direction we would take the facility, and most of the founding members left. That's how the vice president tells it. Wait, there's something more important I want to know. Why did you say I was lying? I never said you were lying. I just said something is off. Miss Moko, you said that the picture was missing and that you looked for it. But that picture frame has stood right where it's been for a long, long time. What? How can you tell? Once you've been investigating as long as we have, you can tell by the amount of dust that's settled on and around the picture. But... You're getting pretty good at dancing around the subject. You figured that out from the memory survey, huh? I mean, it's about time I got good. As the person on scene investigating the picture, I can say for certain that said picture frame hasn't moved for at least a week. But that puts us in an awkward position. What? Are you sure you didn't just screw up your investigation? I'm sure that's how it went that day. Wait a second, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I misread the whole situation. Why the sudden change of heart? I just remembered something. When I was leaving the room, I looked back toward the table. It was there. The picture was there on the table. What's going on here? I'm not making any sense. How would you ever believe me? Am I going crazy? Is that why that day the creature went to Mr. Thompson's office? Did I do that to him? That's it. It's going to be hard to get any more information from Miss Moko. No, I don't know why, but it doesn't seem like she's lying to me. Athena, I know you're good at reading people, but I don't think you can judge what's true on that alone. But like I just said, logically speaking, a lot of things just don't make sense. Even if we take her statements as true, I don't see much going from Moko. And most importantly, Miss Moko could commit the crime from Lounge 1 where she was at. She had no reason to move around. Ah, you're right. However, we have clear proof that Miss Moko was in Lounge number 2, yet she denies it, even though she has no reason to deny it. What if she's telling the truth? Huh? Detective Athena, are you trying to say that Miss Moko doesn't think she moved, but she did? No, I know that doesn't make a lick of sense. However, no, that's it. What is? A way to move people without them knowing it. We already know just how to do it. Yep, we're getting to it. Figuring some stuff out. Hope this isn't a red herring, though. Okay, let's see here. Mr. Beck. There was a way of moving Miss Moko with her none the wiser. We already know how it happened. No, it's not just that we know it either. One of us has experienced it firsthand. What? Who's experienced it? Ah, that'd be me. What? Andy? When? When do you think? You were there. What? I was there too? My ear hurts. For a bit more on the subject, shall we call in the person in question? For some reason, I have a feeling this case is going to take longer than I thought. Well, we got an hour left in the stream, so... Note, why'd you bring us in here? And on top of that, why'd you call in Mr. Beck? Because, of course, if we wish to confirm our suspicions, we're going to need his help. Is that so? I'd be honored to help. It's an honor to be honored in turn. But on to business. Shall we discuss your skill, Mr. Beck? My skill? Don't you remember my showing it to you earlier? It's no problem showing you once more, but... I would like to refrain from taking a beating once more. Yes, of course. Before, Mr. Beck, you used your skill to teleport our dear sergeant. I was teleported less than a meter, and it was so sudden that it took a moment to wrap my head around what had just happened. Perhaps, if he hadn't explained that he used his skill, I may have never known what exactly happened to me. Ah, then that's the method you were talking about before. Eh? Mr. Beck, when we were taking Miss Moko's statement, we noticed one glaring peculiarity. Miss Moko said she never left lounge number 1, yet we found her prints in lounge number 2. Oh, that is rather peculiar. Is such a thing possible? It is, with your skill. Eh? You could have teleported Miss Moko from lounge 1 anywhere else, isn't that right? Indeed, you're quite right, dear boy. It's my own skill. Yet I never imagined doing such a thing. Yet, if I did teleport her to another room, wouldn't she notice due to the objects surrounding her? Normally, I'd say yes. However, this case is rather special. Lounge 1, where Miss Moko is staying, is almost identical to lounge number 2. So if you didn't take a careful look around, you'd never realize you'd been moved. But of course, there are differences. There's the picture frame on the table of lounge 1 that isn't in here. That's why Moko said the picture suddenly disappeared. Right, that was after Moko had been moved to lounge 2. She had no idea she'd been teleported, so she thought the picture just disappeared. But if it wasn't the picture that moved, it was Moko herself. Nine Beck, it was through your skill that it happened. Gotcha, bitch. What do you think, Mr. Beck? Care to explain yourself? Well, let's see. It seems there's been a misunderstanding. I feel like I've heard that before. This time I'm serious. I have no idea what happened to Miss Moko. He's going to plead ignorance. From what I gather, it's like this, yes? You found Miss Moko's fingerprints in lounge number 2, yet she never left lounge number 1? I don't want to have to say it, but don't you think she might just be lying? Moko gains nothing from lying about that. I have met many different people during my time at this facility. From that, I can tell you one thing. People don't only lie when it's in their best interests. For example, there are people like Mr. Hawes who avoid lying even when they have something to hide, and people like Miss Moko who lie out of habit. But of course, I believe that you investigators should know even more about that. In my professional opinion, wouldn't it make more sense to just say that Miss Moko went in and out of lounge number 2? No, it wouldn't. But it's not like there's a 0% chance that happened. Nope, it's 0. It's simply impossible. If she had gone in and out of the second lounge like you say, well, have a look at this document. It'll clear things up. Yep, easy one here, the doorknob, no prints. That'd be, which one is it? Lounge 2? I'm getting good at this, I think. Mr. Beck, we took prints from the door handle in lounge number 2. That was rather quick work. You haven't even been here 1 full hour. We have a very professional investigator working that part of the case. And, what was that? Nothing. Well then, when you took those prints, did you find anything that supported Miss Moko's statement? No, quite the opposite, actually. There should have been a clue there, but we found nothing. Excuse me? Mr. Beck, if we were to leave this room right now, we would be forced to leave our prints in one specific place. Can you guess where that might be? I guess if we went through that door... I know the answer. On the doorknob. True. She's got your answer. Why is it Detective Thena who's answering? Right. Normally when you go through a door, you leave finger or handprints when you turn the handle. So, what sort of person can go through a door without leaving prints? That would be... Hold up, time out. That would be a person who never left. Or perhaps someone who was never there at all. But what if someone was in the room and is now gone? What would you say if they didn't leave any prints? You understand now, don't you? We didn't find Miss Moko's prints on the door handle. There was also no signs of her wiping them off. Yet somehow we lifted clear prints left by Miss Moko off of this table. So, how did she leave the room? She didn't walk out of the room. So what I'm thinking is that she was teleported out. What do you think about that, Mr. Beck? Perhaps. Perhaps I did do that. You did. But even if I did use my skill on Miss Moko, what would be the point? What would be the point? Yeah, what would be the point? Note, you just blurted that out without thinking what might come next again. If something doesn't make sense to you, you might want to check out the statements once more. That's where you'll see a list of the suspect's actions. Okay, I think it's too early to say this is what happened, so much as this is the direction that leads yours, but what if he teleported her to room 2 so that she would send the animal into the room on her right, on her left, which would be the office. Mr. Beck used his skill to move Miss Moko. Miss Moko wasn't aware of moving from Lounge 1 to Lounge 2. There may be something in her statement that brings meaning to such a move. I should take a look. Yeah, I think that's it. Alright, there's the... Gotta be this one, right? Gotcha. If we change where Miss Moko was, this statement suddenly takes on a completely different meaning. Oh, seriously, you've already found something? Note? If this is for real, Miss Moko, this is no trivial matter. This feels like the deepest secret of the case we've uncovered. Far beyond anything we've found out thus far. What are you getting at? When Miss Moko sends her creature to feed. She takes a seat in the lounge. Then she sends the creature to the feeding area. I'm still not over it. When you're facing the lounge, that's the room directly to the left. However, if she was in lounge number 2 without knowing where she was, do you see what that means? If she were to give her creature the same orders and send it to feed in the room to her left, what? Then, if it went to the left... You! What have you done? Yes, the room to the left of there is the victim's office. That's the scene of the crime. Miss Moko sent her creature straight that way, without knowing what she was doing. Then, it devoured everything in that room, just as it always does. Wait a second, Mr. Beck. By doing what you did, you took the life of the victim. Not with your own skill, but using the skill of someone else. Yeah, no, it's too early in the case for that to be the answer. Wait, you've got the wrong idea. I have no idea what you're talking about. I certainly hope that's the case. Just thinking that a killer could use an innocent bystander as a tool for murder makes me sick. Makes my trigger finger itchy. But, when the murder occurred, I was in my lab. That's what you said before. But when we asked to investigate the interior of said lab, you made a deal with the Bureau to stop us in our tracks. If you continue to insist that's where you were, would you permit us to investigate the lab? You can't! You simply can't! After all, this is just a theory of yours, and this theory rests on the fact that you believe me to be the culprit behind everything. If you believe I'm lying about being in my laboratory, isn't the burden of proof on your shoulders, detectives? Tell me, if I really did use my skill on Miss Moko, where do you think I was exactly? Where do we think you were? You may have seen it on my bureau file, but my skills range is a measly 8 meters. If I did move Miss Moko from one lounge to the other, I couldn't have been that far from her. In fact, there's nowhere I could have been to accomplish such a feat. Don't tell me, you don't really believe I would be in the hallways with creatures ordered to roam about, do you? Even if you weren't in your laboratory, you couldn't have pulled off this crime, huh? You're right, I couldn't have. And what reason does he have for stopping us from looking around his lab? Alright, if we figure out a place where you could have committed the crime, that clears up whatever issues we may have, yes? If there's a place Miss Moko's creature can't see, a place close to the scene of the crime, that could be where Mr. Beck uses skill from. He was in the drainage pipes! Shall I put it out to him? A place that fulfills all those conditions. The place Mr. Beck was hiding. There was the... He raised the... One of the rooms and mentioned that he raised the grate at some point. Ooh, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. I am a smart boy today. So mind them clues, baby. With the creatures roaming around, the halls would clearly be a dangerous place to be. There's no place to hide in either of the lounges, and your prints aren't in either anyway. Plus, there's not a chance he was at that crime scene, so that means he wasn't on the first floor. Ahem, it seems you've finally come to your senses. Speaking of the first floor... Yes, what are you getting at? You know the answer to that already. If there are no hiding spots on the first floor, you could just hide under the tiles. Under the tiles? There's room under our feet? They have a system installed that washes away everything at a certain time every day. Thus, there's a drain in every room. So it follows that there has to be a drain pipe where everything flows out. You can even see it on the floor plan for the building. So that pipe is right under our feet? No one could catch you in there, and you'd have plenty of range for your skill. Mr. Beck, you were in the drain pipe at the time of the incident. From there, you teleported Miss Moko and took the life of your victim. Do you have proof? Proof? Proof that I was in the drains at the time you claim I was in there. Without such proof, your logic stands as mere hypothesis. We don't have proof yet, but it won't take long to investigate the drain pipe. I won't allow it. Huh? I'll reach out to the Bureau. I'll ask them to make the drains a restricted area. You cheeky bastard. Are you taking the piss? You see, our drainage system was constructed with great care, so you can't just go traipsing around down there. And it seems I owe you an apology. Excuse me. You should have told me before. You see, I figured it was fine for people to go down there. Now, thankfully, it seems that no notable damage has been done. If there is something the matter, I'm sure the Bureau will see you're properly compensated, so don't you worry. Detective Brian? No, wait, where are you? Note, down below. Down there. I think I can hear Brian's voice. Seriously, he's right under us. That bloke will do whatever you tell him to do. This can't be! Get him out of there at once! Right away, sir. After all, I already found everything worth finding. Fortunately for us, it sounds like he left some clues, yes? That's right. The trace evidence on the floor was all swept away. But I have clear handprints on the ceiling of the drainage duct. The prints are from none other than Vice President Nine Beck. Unfortunately for you, I think you'll be hard-pressed to come up with more excuses. I think it's still too early to cap this off. I think... Yep, they're giving us a save point. They're not going to do that if that's the end of the case, are they? And we still have to do the big thing where I find a inconsistency in the documents like last time. But let's get as far as we can in the remaining hour of the stream. Sergeant, how did you know things would turn out this way? I didn't. Eh? Then why'd you? I didn't, but if there's a clear hidden passage to be seen, it's only right to search it, no? We are investigators, after all. So, you sent me in here on a whim. So what if she did? You got what you wanted, right? Be that as it may. Seems like you usually get the short end of the stick, Detective Brian. Regardless, the case is closed, so let's report to the chief. It wasn't me! What's this now? We've proven everything that needed proving. It's really nothing in the long run, only the trials I've been through. You don't have to believe me. You probably won't, but still, would you please listen to what I have to say? If you've got something to say, we won't stop you. It's true that I was in the drains during the time of the incident. However, I didn't go down there of my own free will. Huh? I don't actually remember going down there. But when I came to, I was in the dark. What if that mammal control thing can work on humans? And that's why, he's listed high. What's-his-face is listed higher. I can clearly remember being in my lab, but then suddenly I was somewhere else. Then, right when I climbed out of that drain, I found out that my boss was dead. I fell into someone's trap. Someone's tried to frame me. Well then, shall we assume that you've said your piece? Rather empty words, not worth hearing. But I'm the one in charge of interrogations, so even if he's given excuses, I wanted to hear him out. After all, listening is all I'm good for. You think? Well, I guess you never know if a statement's worth listening to until you hear it. Right? But isn't there a single percentage of a chance that what Beck just said is true? Couldn't someone have knocked Beck out and dragged his unconscious body into the sewer? No, it was just a poor excuse to open his mouth. Note, tell Thena why what he said is impossible. Now there's nothing left to investigate, and nothing left to hide. Let's wrap this case up here and now. We should put a stop to these excuses. Yeah, I think we still gotta investigate the other guy. Pause, that was it. Let's see here. That's supposed to... No, nothing left to investigate. We gotta disprove her. So let's print that out quick, pin it. I'm gonna say nothing left to hide means be Not have to investigate means we do need to still investigate this. Gotcha. Sergeant, now that I'm thinking about it, there is one place we haven't investigated yet. Is there? There is. The door in the mammal wing that had staff only written on it. That's the place. Ah, that place. The door we thought might lead to the laboratory, right? I see, that door. Didn't I make it clear that you weren't allowed in there? Yes, you did. The higher-ups said that the place is off limits, so we should leave it be. But what did you say before? Because they came to an agreement with Mr. Beck. If we have proof that he was involved in the incident, we can investigate there. Note, is there any special reason why you want to look around there? With the evidence we've collected thus far, I don't think we'd have a problem convicting Beck for this. Beck's reaction was rather disconcerting. Eh? I first thought that Mr. Beck's claims of being in his lab at the time of the murder were meant to stop us from investigating it. But at this point, I don't think it matters what trace evidence we find of him down there. Yet here he is, still trying to stop us from carrying out an investigation downstairs. I think there may be something else hidden in this crime of his. I believe the evidence for it lies somewhere downstairs. It should be all right, yes? I do believe it will take me time to work my way out of this drainage system regardless. How about you all investigate underground while I do? Can't be helped, then. I'll allow it. However, if the chief cracks the whip later on, it'll be you, Note, who will have to put his mind at ease. That's a little... That settles it. You have the key on you. What are you all saying? I won't allow it. I am still the acting director here. No, you don't get it. This is your chance, Mr. Beck. Excuse me. You said you were in your lab before suddenly moving to the drainage system, right? If we investigate the lab, we might find something to prove just that. If you really are telling the truth, you have no reason to stop us, right? And to correct one thing you just said, you're not the acting director, Mr. Beck. You're a prime suspect in this. Prime suspect who's looking mighty attractive to bullets right now. Just saying. Looking for an excuse. I'm crazy. I'm carrying a revolver in England. I don't give a fuck. So you're gonna give me that key, right? Alright, let's investigate this. Yeah, we're probably not gonna finish the case tonight. I just hope I don't leave off at like a super climactic part. Here we are! The underground part of the facility you all wanted to see so badly. How should I put this? This place fits you, Mr. Beck. It's ugly and boring. The air is stale and it's much more messy than the first floor. Is there no automatic cleaning system in the basement? If that's the case, let's get to investigating. Huh? Right, the investigation. Indeed. Let's go. Alright, clicky clicky time. Bucket. What's in this bucket? Fur? There sure is a lot of it. I guess that's why I was feeling a tickle in my nose, huh? Honestly, I'd rather just sneeze. Do it that way, please. Sergeant, did you read the memories from it? Let's just move on to the next thing. Alright. A mop. From the fact that I have cleaning supplies down here, I guess the basement doesn't have the same automatic cleaning system. And does that mean we'll still have footprints? I mean, we might. But with such important evidence, I think Mr. Beck might have mopped them out, eh? Well then, we're back to where we started. But the head of that mop is too dark to really make it out, but it's got a strangely reddish hue to it. It's blood, I can see it very clearly. Can we flip the switch, then? What button do I press to flip the switch? Where does that door lead? Ah, that! The laboratory. It's where I normally work. So this is the place you've been talking about? According to you, Mr. Beck, you were in there before being transported to the drains, right? But what exactly does research into creatures entail? I keep forgetting how stupid that sounds. Well, I guess we're about to find out. Here, let's just open this up and... God, it's Zalco in there. Did my game freeze? Detective, what exactly is back there? Don't look. What? Don't look note. That's an order. Sergeant. Move. Huh? You. How could you bastard? What? Detective Thena? Thena, cut it out. Even I can't stop them this time. They can do what they please. I have to have an answer. Speak. What are you people? What have you done? First, let me go. Still able to talk? Was I not squeezing hard enough? That's it, huh? That's it. Just like that. That's how you made all of the creatures up there, huh? Detective, stop! How's he supposed to answer when you're squeezing the life out of him like that? Fair point. Okay, speak up. Say something. If you don't... Detective! You're not going to kill him, are you? You promised. Sorry it took me so long getting back. Good timing. Why'd you have to go and say that? I wanted to scare him some more. Of course I wasn't going to kill him. After all, I'm the one in charge of interrogations, so I've got to listen to absolutely everything he has to say. Ah! Stop your whining. You can tell me now, yes? What are you doing behind that door? Yes, I'll tell you. Creature mutations. We're promoting mutations. We do it so we can study more creature variations. You promote mutations? Depending on the mutations the creatures carry, their values can vary widely. The right ones could have a large impact on this nation's economy. To that end, you carry out such unethical experiments. That is the truth you were hoping to hide from us. Unethical? From an ordinary perspective, yes. What was that? In the past, the people here at Woods used these methods to form a pig into a creature with heightened reproductive abilities. This breed is now the most well-known creature alive, and it's quite likely that you've all ingested a product made from it. Be strong. Can't throw up now. The breed is now raised in large herds at low cost, and it has saved so many from starvation. My research has saved countless lives. You have no idea how many more I could save. Yet people feel sorry for these walking meals that can't even speak or tell me to stop. The same people who go about their lives happily eating meat. That's what's unethical. Their hypocrisy. It was so obvious. I'm not surprised. Be so proud of your work and then turn around and hide in the corner. You were going to hide all of this till the very end, huh? Someone please get this woman off of me! Thena, help Brian look around the corridors. We'll take care of Beck. Pull your head. Should I? Detective Thena, what on earth is behind that door? Ignorance is bliss, note. Wrong voice for that line. On this at least, that holds true. I'm counting on you. Indeed, don't you worry about her. Sergeant, about Detective Thena. It's because of her time in the probations office. It's the largest division in the operations sector of the Bureau, and though the name might sound peaceful enough, they're responsible for capturing the staffers who've turned to crime. They're a special unit trained in armed and unarmed combat. Thena was a rather famous officer at the probations office. Her rate of gunning down targets instead of capturing them was overwhelmingly higher than that of her peers. She wasn't nearly as talkative back then either. Then why'd she move to the Mana Affairs Division? She filed for the transfer herself. From what Brian tells me of the time, Athena was trapped in a building during one of her operations, and only managed to escape when the criminal she was targeting helped her. That case, I think it changed Athena's outlook on life somehow. And Detective Brian knew her before she transferred over. Those two went through training together. And also, Sarge, could I borrow you for a moment? I'll tell you the rest later. Honestly, I know absolutely nothing about these people. This took a turn. You say these footprints were left at the time of the crime? Yes. That can't be. Beck was supposed to be in the drainage lines by then. Indeed, but I checked them with my own two eyes. These footprints weren't made by Beck. The footprints in this corridor were made by our mammal handler, Kendrick Hawes. What? Yep, we're getting to my theory. I was right, bitches! Are you sure about this? Yes, even if you check the distance of the strides, there's no doubt the footprints were made by Hawes. But didn't we conclude earlier that Hawes was in the mammal wing? Well, we must have been mistaken. Mistaken? Note, here's the trace photo Brian just filled out. If you take a look, you can see for yourself. He moved the fucking ladder! Right, if we think about why we believed Hawes to be in the mammal wing and take a good look at this trace photo, we can find why we were mistaken. He moved the ladder. Clever bastard. I'm just happy he's coming back because I get to do his voice again. Oh, but will I? I'm not sure. I feel like we'll probably have to end the stream before we interrogate him so it doesn't go too long. Okay, where were we? Okay, so this trace photo, 4 rectangular impressions, and then this one, the step ladder. We thought Mr. Hawes was in the mammal wing because of the step ladder. After all, the time Mr. Hawes left those marks on the ladder was the same time we estimated for the victim's death. Aha, that's right. So? Right. Note, we're still in the middle of an investigation. Right, sorry. So, we figured Mr. Hawes was sitting where the ladder currently stands, but that's clearly not the case. I see. The 4 square impressions in the downstairs corridor. Perhaps it's those you speak of. Yes, they were left by the stepladder with the mammal wing. Also, when you read the memories from the stepladder before, Sergeant, right, it held the memory of having been moved. In other words, Mr. Hawes brought the ladder down here to use it, meaning he wasn't in the mammal wing at the time of the incident. He was here, in the space meant for staff only. But why'd he bring a stepladder down here? Maybe he brought it down to help him use his skill? Maybe he was trying to get in range of his creature. I'm dying out here, ladies and germs. In range of his creature on the first floor. No, the range of Hawes' skill is only 4 meters. Even if he had his head pressed up against the ceiling, he'd never reach the mammal wing on the first floor. What? Then why? How about we start by calling over Hawes? We've got no choice but to hear what he has to say. This case, does it have more to hide? Alright, we're getting into the thick of it. Question is this him, or is it going to be another dead end and we got to go find someone else? We got bounced around a lot in the last one, too. Look at the gloomy lot of you. Looks like you're all at it still. Oh, Mr. Beck, why do they have you like that? You say something you shouldn't have again? Get fooled by Moko, perhaps? Mr. Hawes will be asking the questions. What brought you down here at the time of the crime? What's this now? Who told you I did that? Vice President Beck? Yes, I was down here. But why? You said you were having a seat on the ladder in the mammal wing then, didn't you? I said I normally do. I never said I was in the mammal wing at the time of the crime, did I? What? Did you just lead us to think that then? No, you thought what you wanted to think. As I said, I was down here. Do you have an issue with that? Would you mind making a statement then? At the time of the crime, what were you up to? That doesn't sound too difficult. I'll tell you the truth about all of this. Speech review. Mr. Beck sometimes forgets to lock the door down here. The first time, it was sheer curiosity that brought me down here. That day, I was shocked by what was going on in that lab back there. Humans are no different from animals, but how could some of us be so arrogant? I decided to let the outside world know what was going on within these four walls. That's why I began sneaking in whenever the door was unlocked, gathering my evidence. Yesterday I found the door unlocked. That's my only reason for coming down here. So, nothing weird about that, right? From what I gather, it fits. Of course it does. I'm not the sort to throw out feeble attempts at deception. Well then, why didn't you tell us you came down here? Tell you? Bureau people. Are you joking? Nope. Here's a statement. About this. Yes, there's a part of it, the candy door. That part, let's press on it. Okay, pretty obvious one here. I'm gonna just turn my mic off and get a nice long drink of water while I do this. Because I love doing that voice, but good God is it a strain, especially after like a 2.5-hour stream so far. Mr. Hawes, why the fuck you lying? What? Where's this coming from? Can't mention the abnormal heartbeat we detected when our prime suspect, Mr. Beck, is also listening. I've got no choice but to dig a little further. You say you had no other reason, but I'm willing to bet that's not true. Well, there was one other thing. Huh? That was surprisingly easy. Then what was your other reason for coming down here? That's a secret. Mr. Hawes, dancing around the truth during an official statement isn't a good idea. Worst case scenario, we accuse you of the crime and close the investigation. So please, think about this one more time before answering again. I mean, if it happens, it happens. However, do you really think you could do that? As things stand, am I really the most suspect for this? Clever. He knows that if he keeps holding out, he won't bleed for this. Why is that? We've pointed out a number of suspicious actions, but none of them seem to faze him. That's because Mr. Hawes hasn't told a single outright lie. Come to think of it, Mr. Beck said so himself. Miss Moko's the type of person to lie unnecessarily when she gets a little flustered, But Mr. Hawes wouldn't even lie to fool a person. Even though he's trying to deceive us, he's relying on ambiguity to mislead us in place of lies. No lies? How many times is that going to get him out of this? A good con artist always leaves an escape route open. Well then, Mr. Hawes, I'd like to ask you one more question. What might that be? The reason you came down here, does it have to do with the murder? I'll hold my tongue on that one as well. Why's that? Excuse me? I just don't want to comment on it. It's a private matter. If it has nothing to do with the case, just say it's not related and be done with it. One simple answer would do nothing to violate your privacy. However, avoiding the question, that's the same as saying it is related to the crime in question. You're right. I guess it's better to say it like this. My actions weren't unrelated to the case. Good to hear. Why is he giving himself up? Perhaps, if he said it wasn't related to the case, when we find out it was, he'd be caught in a lie, and he wouldn't have his escape route anymore. Thus, he'd rather admit to the charge. Then he's hoping we'll quietly move on, and then when we cart Beck away, he'll give some small excuse relating to how he was involved. Seriously, Athena turns into a different person when it comes to heated verbal exchanges. When it comes to that, you're right. Yeah, she's something else. But he made a mistake. He shouldn't have convinced me. Now that I know Mr. Hawes is connected to this, I just need to figure out why that's relevant. Are you expecting to find something? Not yet. I'm not sure this is the sort of thing that's going to be figured out by connecting one or two clues. However, if Mr. Hawes is connected to this somehow, I'm sure that our clues have a few implications that could lead us down the right path. It seems I'm going to have to make a mess of all this. We're doing the thing! Yeah, we're gonna have... This is the bit where we figure out that it's like, he can control humans, huh? Up until now, it has seemed that out of all our suspects, Mr. Hawes had been the furthest from the crime. When we found out that it was Miss Moko who turned her creature loose on the victim, Mr. Hawes was practically cleared of all suspicion. Then we found out it was Mr. Beck who moved her. There's no place for Mr. Hawes in all this, yet he just admitted that he was involved in the crime. So, if I look back on all of the clues I've gathered at once, check all of the doubts and actions that didn't make sense, I'll find they're all connected. Alright, let's see what we got here. Right, pick 6 clues that show what Hawes did underground. Let's see. This one, definitely. So Hawes went here, stood on the ladder, and then went back. Let's see. There was Beck's fingerprints on the door. Then Hawes walked to the ladder. I think he was like standing there to increase his range so he could control something somehow, I think he sent Beck into there. Right now. So it would have been like around the murder, so I'm gonna say here. This. The question is what to do with this. Okay, so if he was here, would he have been under lounge number 1? He could have been under lounge number 1, and he could have gotten, what's-his-face to do the switch, I guess. Humans are no different from animals, there we go. Let's see if this is it. Okay, so we're missing one, and it's probably this. We tried changing this. Okay, so it's definitely something on the map. Was it the drainage pipes? There we go, got it. We're coming up on the end of the stream. This seems like a really bad place to let off. Like, okay, we're almost at the end. I'm going to push past a bit. I've unlocked it. We misunderstood one of the most fundamental truths from the very beginning. Because of our own arrogance, the criminal was prancing about right in front of us the whole time. There's one thing that's been bothering me. One thing? I imagine you must have a whole host of questions. Yeah, let's see how long you can keep up the slick guy act. Mr. Hawes, besides the catalyst part, your skill and Miss Moko's skill are quite similar, yes? Now that I mention it, though, the threat level of your skill is also one rank higher. STN. That's as dangerous as a fully armed tank, isn't that right? Well, our skills are different. On that we can be certain. I mean, it's clear that your skills have slight differences. After all, compared to Miss Moko, who can only give simple orders like where to move, you were able to use that monkey's mouth as your own and pull off rather sophisticated feats. It felt like that thing was possessed. But that alone doesn't explain everything. In terms of skill range, Miss Moko is overwhelmingly superior. But in the end, the catalyst plays a lot into your SDN threat level. At the time of the crime, you grabbed that ladder and brought it down here. Then you climbed up onto it. That was to use your skill. You had to stay within 4 meters of your target. Hold up a note. We said before that even if Hawes was pressed up against the ceiling, he wouldn't have been able to reach the first floor. He didn't need to. Huh? What do you... That's right. He didn't have to reach the first floor. The target he was aiming for was in the drains. Wait, no. No, the only person in there was... What's the meaning of this? Mr. Hawes? Mr. Hawes, you're able to control every member of the mammal family. Any mammal. And people. We're mammals too, are we not? Ryan, the cuffs. I'm one step ahead of you. Ah! What do you think you're doing? Let me go! Quiet you and step back about 4 meters, would you? Those cuffs are no normal cuffs. From this second, you're dead if we so desire. It was you. From the start to the finish, it was you. Do as you will. I won't say a word. Mr. Hawes, that would show a lack of judgment on your part. What would? Just a moment ago, you confessed to Athena that you were involved in the crime. Then, Note puts forward his hypothesis that you're the culprit, and said hypothesis lines up perfectly with the ridiculous statements made by Mr. Beck. So if you're unable to refute Note's hypothesis, there is no better suspect for this than you. The silence you have wielded as a weapon thus far is now a poisoned blade aimed back at you. You utter pillocks! Let me just explain how you did it. A few minutes before the crime, Lisa Moko was in the reptile wing where she works, and Nine Beck was in his laboratory. That's when you, Mr. Hawes, used your skill to control Mr. Beck. You brought him up to the first floor, and led him into the drain pipes. Then, just as he was about to get out of your range, you went underground. Using the ladder, you got right up against the ceiling. You then used your skill once more to control Mr. Beck. It was mealtime in the reptile wing when everything was in place, and Miss Moko headed for lounge number 1. You made Mr. Beck use his skill while he was under your control, moving Miss Moko to lounge number 2. Miss Moko was none the wiser, so when she sent her creature, to the feeding room on her left, that's right where the creature moved. However, that was actually where the victim was located. I really like this case. Mr. Kendrick Hawes, you are our culprit. Unfortunate, really. Man, he put up way less of a fight than the clown. Well, now that we've got his confession, I'll call the probations division. Right, good work, everyone. Ina, escort Mr. Beck back to the first floor and keep an eye on him. Even though he's not our guy, they're going to take him in, and I can't put you with Hawes. Is that so? Sorry to bother you, but could you place me in the charge of someone less murdery? This woman is a bit... Dear me, you certainly have a lot of requests. Then shall I? No, I'll take care of him. You're not exactly our most physically adept detective, with all those genetically engineered sausages you're eating. Instead, keep an eye on Thena for me. Okay, I will. So, don't I get a last meal or something before you take me away? No, so sit there quietly. We received orders that we're allowed to shoot you if you try to get too close. Why'd you kill him? Aren't you much more to the point? The victim. Why'd you kill him? You saw what they do to these creatures. This facility has connections with the Bureau and the government. Oh, sorry, need water before I could continue with this character. Sorry. So I made a judgment call and whack, I dropped the hammer. I took out the president. I took out the vice president. I made the call. Okay, I'm with you so far. You're okay with that? But why Moko? I know she doesn't have the greatest personality. But did she know what was going on at the lab? Well... Also, what about the creature that tasted human flesh because of you? If you were going to drop the hammer of justice, you should have dirtied your own hands. You bloodied the hands of innocent people to save your own skin. Even the creatures you were trying to protect. You're a right fuck-up, you are. Seriously, doesn't that bother you? Even a little? That creature wanted that. And Moko. If that woman had known, would that have changed anything? No, actually, if she'd have known, she would have pretended not to and just kept on working. She only cares about keeping food on her own table, oblivious to how the world turns. But I'm different. This world needs people like me who can make sacrifices. This guy's insane. Wow, there's something wrong with this guy. And I'm a gun-wielding psychopath. What? Cut the crap. Do you honestly think the people here were doing the things they did without knowing they were in the wrong? Detective Thena, you're all the same. Even though you all know what you're doing. You do it because you think you're more important. You think your cause is more important. You all use your own reasons to rationalize your decisions. You play dumb. You say it's not what it is. That's how you live with yourselves. Are you blind? You think I'm like them? But of course, you're lower than them. To be perfectly frank, I can relate to what you did in part. I don't like this facility any more than you do. However, you said it was your duty to protect your animals, but you used that creature as a tool to commit murder.
How many times do I have to tell you that Creecher wanted to do that?
Did it talk to you like a human? Did it say, please let me kill someone? You think humans are like animals, yet you don't think you're like other humans? I'll agree on one point. You couldn't overcome your anger, so you did a thing against your better judgment.
I'm clearly not getting through to you. Without your talking, you must have met your fair share of morons, huh?
Alrighty then. Since we beat your convictions to death, how about I tell you some of mine? Or just beat you to death. I'm up for that. And regarding mine, I've killed my fair share of murderers like you in the past.
Typical.
I mean, I figured I was cleaning up the world a bit, saving innocent lives and all. However, that wasn't the case. I learned later on that even murderers can have a change of heart. So for those who atone for their sins, they deserve a second chance at life. That's why I chose a job where I could hear the words straight from the killer's mouths. I like Thena. Yet, there are the scum who use that opportunity to kill again. For those monsters, that seems better, huh? Yep.
So, are you gonna kill me using that gun right there?
That's the idea, yes. No. Actually, no. I have better things in store for you. Detective Thena, I'm going to call the sergeant down. Do what you will. It'll be over before she gets here. Why on earth are you doing this?
What's that?
It's the trigger for the cuffs you're wearing. If I push this yellow button, a stream of high voltage electricity will run through your body, frying you to a crisp.
You savage. Have you gone mad?
Say it. Tell me this murder was just a simple case of you venting your anger. If I find your answer satisfactory, I might just press the other button. Try or go free. The choice is yours.
Alright, I'll talk. Damn you.
Speak? Speak! You fainted. Like I expected any less. That was harsh. Possibly illegal also. Sorry. I was just so flustered I couldn't help it. I was so scared you were going to do something you'd regret. Oh, it would have been nothing I'd regret. I said I was sorry. It was all an act, just a show. No, I'm sorry, but could you fetch the Sarge? I'll tell her what happened. Yeah, just leave me alone in the room with this man for 5 minutes. Promise nothing's gonna happen. I am sane. I can be trusted. Detective Thena. Yeah? What is it? What's my name? Where's this nonsense coming from? Your note, of course. Please say my full name. Is note just a nickname? Well, crap. I must have never introduced myself. The name's No Trick Case. Oh, I forgot how stupid his full name is. Please remember it, Mr. Kendrick Hawes.
I thought I played the part pretty well.
But was it really that obvious? You got her voice good enough. But Detective Thena calls the sergeant by her nickname, Pandy.
This girl really is a loon.
This conversation is being transmitted to our colleagues through staff. I'm sure they're already on the way. Good. That was pretty clever. Let's not make this any bigger than it already is. Let Detective Thena go.
What are they gonna do when they get here?
This girl is pretty much my hostage. After all, I have the trigger for my cuffs. I have one too. Don't even think about it.
Is that so? Then you'll just have to die.
What?
She went on and on like that, but no bullets. She's all bark and no bite.
Am I alive?
My legs were trembling so hard I couldn't move. Right. There's more than one trigger, huh? What do you think you're doing? What do you think? You want me to keep these cuffs on, not knowing when this girl will kill me? So the green button releases the cuffs. Ha, right. You'd rather I fry myself with the yellow button, huh? Like I'd ever. Eh? Why are you just... I didn't let you free from my skill. Why? Why won't these stupid cuffs open? Staffer cuffs have a quick-acting failsafe built into them just in case a staffer over the rank of Bowie tries to resist. Each detective is provided with a triggering remote, and that trigger allows the detective to subdue the staffer before they pose a threat. The yellow button triggers a stream of electricity, just enough to subdue the wearer at the first press, but with each subsequent press the shock gets stronger. However, some staffers have skills that can protect them from the electric current, which is why we have the second button. The second button, the green button, is for a neurotoxin. Oh shit. In a heartbeat, the toxin hits the brain where it disables motor functions. After that, death. Pause. It was an honor voicing you. As for a button that releases the cuffs remotely, that button doesn't exist. Why, I definitely pushed. Great. He's dead. Jeez. Looks like Kendrick Hawes had an accident. Fry or go free. Detective Thena. Why do you phrase your demand like that? You clever bitch. I didn't lie to him. I truly didn't. She got into controlling range on purpose. Never trust a Canadian. Yeah, stream's going a little over time, but this is like clearly the end game of the case, so let's finish this out. Note. Note. Yeah. Sorry, you must be tired. It's just something you have to fill out yourself. No need to apologize. Your role in this is finished, so I'm just thankful you're helping me out. No need to thank me. I try to be as helpful as I can be. That's just the sort of person I am. Yes, that's exactly the sort of person you are. And Detective Thena, she's just the same. Oh, you're here. Chief? Detective Case, you sure played an active role in this case, didn't you? Good work, my boy, and I heard you crawl through a drain pipe. Detective Brian? You seem surprisingly chipper today. I thought this Thena business would have you angry. Actually, we're quite lucky. Woods has been in a bit of a nosedive the past 4 years, and thanks to this fortunately timed incident, we're able to close her down. Close the facility? That's right. Quite a number of inhumane studies have been conducted at the Woods facility. Word of that got out, they'd make the connection to the Bureau, and we'd be condemned alongside them. However, if it was the Bureau's own agents who brought that to light, that makes us the heroes of this story, exposing the threats that lay in wait. Due to that fact, the punishment for Detective Hervanus will be rather light. After all, the killer died due to a simple misunderstanding. Oh, you're a shady fucker, aren't you? Did the Bureau really not know about the research that was going on there? Ha ha ha! Detective Craze, you really ask rather silly questions sometimes. Whether we knew or not is hardly the important matter here. I'm beginning to see why no one likes the Chief. Dear me. Did I do something wrong? If I had to pick one problem, I'd say it's you just existing. You could do with being a little less honest at times. Depression balcony. We're going back to the depression balcony. Playing hooky again. Ah, you caught me. I hate paperwork. Plus, you're better at it than me. Not today. I'm playing hooky too. We'll both get in trouble for running off.
You sure you're not running off because the chief gave you an earful? Ah, are you reading my memories or something? Not a chance. I can't touch people. I see. Then back when Mr. Beck touched her shoulder. The sergeant. She's just that sort of person. This case is going to make waves in our country. It's going to change how people perceive creatures on the whole. Please stop using that word. It's possible that even creature-based foods can be banned. It's going to be a rough time for the people who live off creature meats. You think that Mr. Beck really did his research for the betterment of mankind? I can't tell you what went on in that man's brain, but I can at least tell you that he wasn't lying to us. That criminal, Beck, would have thought he was sticking to his morals with all that research. Instead of feeling bad about doing it for the money, I bet it put his heart at ease. People who are stuck in their own ways, they act outside the ideas of right and wrong. They don't care about the truth or making up excuses. That goes for Beck, Oz too, and also Detective Thena. You're well aware of that, aren't you, Note? Thena's actions, they lie outside the realm of what we view as good and evil. No one can change Thena until she decides to change herself. I guess Detective Thena's always been like that, then. I was the only one who didn't know. That's right, and if you kept on not knowing, you wouldn't fear her. However... You think I'm scared of her? Are you not? This isn't me tooting my own horn, but my town was on the outskirts of the outskirts, so public order wasn't our strong suit. The sheriff was known to shoot and kill criminals. The private investigator at my firm helped him with that a few times. Man, you know this is like an alternate universe when a sheriff shooting and killing criminals is like considered a sign of like a dysfunctional town in America. I didn't think it good, but I wasn't all that opposed to it either. Well then, why the long face? Well... And we're back to these two. I'm back! Oh, that was faster than I thought. I don't see Pandy or Note around. Those two sometimes disappear without a trace. I was lucky and ended up settling for a pay cut. I thought it'd be my neck this time. Not metaphorically either, seriously. Since you're back, how about you start by filling this out? Why is there more paperwork than usual? Because of you. Even though it was ruled as an accident, you did that on purpose, yes? I did, but I didn't do it when you were there like I promised, right? Right. Yet. What is it this time? Did the chief give you an earful? Sorry, I'll make it up to you this weekend. How's that sound? It's not that. I thought we finished this discussion a while back. I didn't do that on a whim. I'm okay dying on this hill. At least that won't cause a lot of you any more harm. It's better than losing another colleague. Thena. Note was rather shocked by everything. Right, I can understand that. Detective Thena, you're back? Note. But of course. What, you miss me? That was cringeworthy, wasn't it? That was not poggers, as the kids today say. No, it's not that. I just had something I wanted to say to you. Something to say? I think that no matter how many crimes a person commits, it's better not to kill them. You would think that would be less of a controversial opinion. I'm not as set in my beliefs as you are, Detective. I just don't feel right being involved in the death of someone. So, if we ever find ourselves in a situation like we did today, I'm going to do everything in my power to stop you. Okay? Understandable, under normal circumstances. So, Detective, you'll have to anticipate my interference and adapt appropriately if you wish to achieve your goal. What? You were only able to do what you did because you caught me off guard, but I'll be ready next time. It won't be easy. Note, what are you getting at exactly? I just wanted to tell you in advance to save us the argument later. I thought it'd be better to get it all out there. It's not that, Note. I mean, you couldn't kill a person, could you? I mean, I guess not. And by killing a man doesn't disgust you or anything? I wouldn't say it disgusts me, but it's not good.
After all, it's you we're talking about, Detective Thena. Eh? I just had this thought today. Even after working with you all for a whole month, I still know very little about you. That just doesn't go for you. Doesn't just go for you either, Detective. It also goes for the extent of the sergeant's refusal to touch people and Detective Brian's overwhelming kindness and passion for his job. I really had no idea. For some reason, that really frustrated me, so I thought why that might be. And I think the feeling comes from my liking you all. That goes for you, Detective Thena, Detective Brian, and, well, you get it. I think I want to know more about you all. I want you to know more about me. You might be disappointed by what you find out. You might even find it disagreeable, but I don't think I'm going anywhere. I like it here. That may have been crossing from honesty to simply saying too much, but it's good to hear. Ah, wait, hold up. That glum look from before. Right, that was me dwelling on this. What? Yeah, I'd be all worried. Thena, the gun! The gun! As per usual, you need to restrain yourself. Huh? What's with you two? Seriously. Ugh. Nope, you're way odder than me. You're the first person to get to know me and not say anything positive or negative about what I have to say. I'm thankful for that more than anything. However, I must apologize. There's one thing I have to take to my grave. My crimes. My betrayal. If I told you, things couldn't continue as they are. Still, because it's you, you may find out one day. Please, when you do, I hope you'll hold on to the right values when you judge me. I think that's it. Oh, nope, there's more. Note. I thought you sort of reminded me of him, but I guess that's not right, huh? Look here. Eh? It's been a while. Why are you here? Are you here to kill me too? Ooh. Case 3 hook. Like, was gonna say sequel hook, but, you know, just case 3, but... Yep, case 2 end. Whew, that was an experience. I'm like, how do I... Alright, so, back to the title screen, back to our little intro screen here. So, that was one heck of a case. I think, like, I had fun with case 1, but I think it was case 2 and that ending with Hawes that really sold me on this game. So I'm definitely going to keep playing this. I was honestly a little unsure going into this stream. I was like, am I sure I want to continue this? Because it doesn't really fit my schedule quite right, and I'm not sure it's quite grabbing me. Maybe I should just finish this on my own time. No, I think I want to do this on stream now. Also, doing the voices was an experiment, and from the comments I got from Alcazor, an experiment that I hope went over well. So, I'm definitely going to keep trying that as we keep working our way through this game. My voice is going to be dead all day tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. But for now, I feel like that went really well, and hopefully anyone from my family who was listening outside my room doesn't think I'm too crazy, but I'm hearing all that. But with that all being said, we're already like 15 minutes over stream. Definitely better than the hour overtime that the last stream was of this game. But still, I think that's a good stopping point for today, obviously. Glad I stuck with it to the end of that. So we're going to be continuing this game on Tuesdays, and we're also going to be continuing Lorelei and the Laser Eyes on Saturdays, if any of you make it to those streams. So, yeah, we might be on the same 2 games for a while, because I've still got a lot of puzzles to solve in Lorelei, too, and we've still got, how many cases are there in this? Let me check. Let me just glance at the menu here quick. Yeah, there's 5 cases, standard Ace Attorney clone status. So, yeah.
We're gonna be at this for a while, at least 3 more streams, probably more, because I doubt, like, I bet the cases are gonna get longer, and I especially doubt get it through whatever the final case is in a single stream. But, with that all being said, thank you all for coming. Glad to have you here. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Bye!